Give me that garbage. Gotta take out the trash. Give me that garbage. Gotta throw it away, throw it away, throw it away. Give me that garbage. 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 You know when I'm coming down the street, rumbling tires and a great big scream.
That's enough of that. That's enough of that. They're definitely going to strike me for that one. They're definitely going to strike me up for that one. That's for sure. That's for sure. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the fine program. I'm your host, Joe Neiman, a.k.a. Good Lawgic. Takes my throat like a little bit to sort of like find its pitch. It's finding its pitch. It's finding its pitch. So, in case you missed it, topic of garbage is all over social media. If you're on social media today, you couldn't get away from the garbage. Garbage is everywhere. Garbage is everywhere. And that's our lead story for tonight. That is our lead story for tonight. I talked about it a little bit last night when it first broke. It broke like right as my show was starting. Maybe like, I don't know, half hour before or so. But, man, this little clip, I said it. I said this, whatever momentum they got from Kill Tony, basically transitioning into someone who probably was thinking, I kill something else. Can't say it on YouTube, but that momentum, that which induced the screech fest from The View, had The View women screeching. We're proud Puerto Ricans. We're proud. How dare you insult Puerto Rico? We there's 100,000 in Delaware, 460,000 in Pennsylvania, 280,000 in Michigan, and we vote. We are not happy with you. Like she's the leader of an army, Sonny Hostin. Oh, God. Oh, God. Well, all that went out the window. No one remembers that anymore. No. This election has officially become known as the garbage election. The garbage election of 2024. And it's all courtesy of one man, one phenomenal man who belongs on Mount Rushmore, according to Nancy Pelosi. This man right here. It all started with just a stupid off the cuff comment, which as soon as he said it, I was like, thank you. Thank you. Oh, thank you, you adult old man.
Or Puerto Rico, where I'm in my home state of Delaware, they're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His
supporters. Period. Just listen to it. It sounds like there's a period after supporters, right? I mean, everyone understands that. This is going to become relevant in a few minutes as I give you more on this story.
His supporters. His demonization is seen as unconscionable, and it's un-American.
God bless you and your stupid, feeble mind. God bless you and your stupid, feeble, addled mind. And here's the thing. This is not a man. He's actually speaking his mind. We saw him at the Dark MAGA the Great Red speech talking about Ultra MAGA. And I'm not talking about Republicans in general. I'm talking about Ultra MAGA. What the hell is that? What the hell is Ultra MAGA? We saw it with his stupid, when he was campaigning, one of the handful of times he managed to crawl out of his bunker and appear on an interview where he goes on the Breakfast Club and starts saying, you don't vote for me, you're not black. Come on, man. He has a sick mind that the left and the screeching members of The View in particular, bend over backwards trying to figure out how to cover up for all the tells that slip out of his mouth because his brain is too cottage cheese to be able to keep his mouth closed. Stupid man. God bless you, you beautiful, stupid individual. Because this now has become the theme. This is it. We've been called Nazis. We've been called racist, misogynist, fascists. We've been called deplorable. We've been called by Obama bitter people holding on to our guns and God. And now we've been called garbage. That's what he thinks of us. We're garbage. Well. Hold on a second. I forgot to send this out. I've got to send out my YouTube notice. Maybe that's why there's no one here. That's pretty stupid. Pretty bad job, Joey. Sorry, sir, but your shovel handle broke. Excuse me. If you don't dig deeper in the tunnels, where are we going to put all the garbage? Where are we going to put all the garbage? You need to be in the tunnels and locals. In the tunnels and just digging and digging and digging. I'm not going to put up with all these lame-ass excuses that people want to give me. Oh, my shovel handle is broken. No. We need massive excavation going on here because there's millions and millions and millions, 100 million maybe, I don't know, 100 million pieces of garbage out there, human garbage. You never got the notification. I'm sorry about that. I'm glad you made it here anyway, Nicole. I just sent it out now. Maybe people show up like in an hour or so. I don't know. Now, that is a good idea that Pravda has. You should hit the like now. See, Uncivil gets me. He gets me. Joe is a garbage person and we love him. God bless you, brother. Lost in law. Hey, Digger Foreman, I've emerged from a long dig trying to build an underground railroad from your basement Canada so AOC may escape to safety. She's going to need to escape somewhere. Let's break down this garbage story here because this was just the beginning. There is so much to talk about with respect to this garbage story. So much. This is Trump speaking in a garbage man outfit after what Biden called his supporters. Unbelievable. The captain of marketing. There you go.
And I have to begin.
Come on.
By saying to.
That's not working. All right. Well, you call us deplorables, we lean in on being deplorables. You call us garbage, we'll lean in on being garbage. We'll be garbage all day long. And God bless this man. He showed up today. Shows up on the campaign trail. That's right. Here he is, showing up in a garbage truck, complete with vest and everything. Here's our hero.
Back with some breaking news here. We want to take you to North Carolina, where you can clearly see there Donald Trump is taking questions from reporters inside a truck.
A truck? Inside some kind of truck? ABC News has to do some more digging, figure out what kind of truck it is. There you go. 100% straight garbage tickets. Hopefully they don't throw you're in Texas. They're not going to throw your bat in the trash. Here's Trump speaking from his garbage truck.
Let's go ahead and listen in.
I don't think they'll have to be used. I think we're going to have a big victory. And I think 250 million people in this country are going to be very happy because we're going to bring the country back. We're a nation in decline, very, very serious decline. And we're going to bring our country back.
This is what I was begging him to do during the last month of the election cycle. Talk about things being better. We all know how garbage life is under the Biden-Harris administration. Talk about how it's going to be better. This is what we need from this man. Perfect. Everything is perfect.
Musk was in close contact with President Bush. Did you know about this? Did you know about Elon Musk calls and closely engagement?
No, I don't know. Elon is a great guy. He's one of our geniuses, and we have to.
I'm going to cover later in the show that there is ongoing developments in the suit between Soros-founded District Attorney Larry Krasner filing a civil suit against Elon Musk because of his America PAC's what they call lottery giveaway, $1 million a day giveaway to people who sign up to his PAC, and that there are developments in that story that I plan on covering later in the show. That's what I believe she was just asking about.
Protect our geniuses. We have to take care of our geniuses.
Oh, yeah. Totally.
There aren't too many of them.
Yes,
no, I love Puerto Rico. And
you owe Puerto Rico an apology. Never apologize. Never apologize to general people. Okay, now I want to clarify this, okay? Here's rule for social media. And trust me, I'm relatively late to the game on social media, but I'm pretty quick learner. And I study from people who are really good at it, and I see what works, what doesn't work. So this is one thing you need to understand. It is a decent and moral and a noble thing when you harm an individual or an identifiable group of individuals, meaning people, not too many that they would fit on a class action lawsuit, but an identifiable small group, easily identifiable small group of individuals, and you wrong them through your own misfeasance, malfeasance, nonfeasance, any kind of bad feasance, it is a brave, noble, and a sign of leadership, strength, and maturity to issue a heartfelt apology, commit to not do that in the future, and make whatever appropriate reparation befits the situation. Those are all noble signs of a well-developed individual, someone you should try to associate with, because they clearly care about their self-growth, their self-development. Those are clear markings of a true member of the following, a nicely developed member of the following. But at the same time, if you are ever called upon to apologize to a group, a large group that you have purportedly wronged by hurting their feelings or in some other very amorphous way that you did not show sufficient sensitivity, you didn't show enough concern, you were too toxic, masculine, whatever nonsense they want to throw at you. Never, ever, 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 ever apologize. Never. Nobody. Never, ever, 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 ever apologize for that at all. Because as soon as you apologize, they will cut your head off and they will not accept your apology. They will take it as an admission that you're wrong and you're a terrible person, because there's nobody to accept your apology. There's no representative who could be like, you know what? I exonerate you. So you're basically saying, I'm a bad person. Did you apologize to every person of that class action suit? Obviously not. And you wronged them potentially. We don't even know that any of them were wronged, but potentially you did. And therefore, you are now guilty. So when they ask him a question, do you want to apologize to Puerto Rico for something that he didn't even do? I love this response. I love Puerto Rico. Why the hell would I apologize? I don't even think Kill Tony should apologize. I think even if it was more offensive joke than that, because he talked about the country, meaning the landscape of Puerto Rico being a garbage dump, if he went so far, which would have been a terrible mistake on his part, as to refer to Puerto Ricans in general as being garbage, I don't know, kind of like our president did about all of us, I still would say, no, don't apologize. If I was advising Joe Biden right now today, I would say to him, don't apologize. You cannot apologize because all your people will read it as is your admission that you were wrong, and you're still just as wrong. Then they will push you and push you and push you to apologize. And if you do, you are only going to make yourself weaker, not make a single soul feel better. And most of the time, you don't even know that a single human being was remotely harmed by your actions in these types of scenarios. So never, ever apologize. Amen. Let's get back to Trump answering some questions here. I haven't seen this part yet.
Puerto Rico loves me. I don't know anything about a comedian. I love Puerto Rico. Nobody's done more for Puerto Rico than me. I took care of them when they had the big hurricanes, and
nobody's done more for Puerto. Not the Liberator. No, nobody. I'll tell you someone who didn't do as much for Puerto Rico. That's certainly the Clinton Foundation.
Nobody gets along better with Puerto Rico and the Puerto Rican people than me. They love me and I love them. What do I don't know anything about the comedian. I don't know who he is. I've never seen him. I heard he made a statement, but it was just a statement that he made. He's a comedian. What can I tell you? I know nothing about him. I don't know why he's there.
Perfect answer. I don't know this clown. I don't know who he is. He's a comedian. He tells jokes. I don't know.
Put comedians up, and I guess he went on earlier in the show. I don't know who he is.
Is Steve Bannon going to campaign with you? Is Steve Bannon going to campaign with you now that he's out of prison?
I don't know, but I think he's a terrific guy. I think he was treated very unfairly.
You've been talking about Democrats.
Notice how you could just answer an array of questions from a myriad of different topics and not look remotely flustered, nervous, swallowing. Oh my God, how am I going to answer this question? If it was Kamala being asked in a similar type of circle, it would just be swallowing. I don't know. Blah, blah, blah. It's a time when people need to think about how they act, because only by thinking about how we act, then our actions are reflecting what we're thinking, and then the thinking will be happening with our actions. And you need your actions to be thoughtful, because that's reflective of the fact that you've been thinking about what you're going to do with those actions. And he's like, I love Puerto Rico. Puerto Ricans love me. Of course, why wouldn't they?
Could you imagine any circumstances under which you would be defeated but not say that the election was stolen?
If it was a corrupt election, that could happen. But so far, we're doing pretty well. They found a lot of smaller things in Pennsylvania.
I think he misheard that question, because he would say if it wasn't the corrupt election.
No, and I think they've been corrupted and taken care of. They were corrupt. They were corrupted, but I think it's been taken care of.
On that subject, you called for law enforcement.
And we're going to talk about a myriad of different issues that have popped up in this state and in that state and in this state and in that state. And why, I remember a year ago, people were telling me, Joe, why should we feel confident that they're not going to do this again? And what I said to you is we're a lot more alert to it now than we were back in 2020. You're also forgetting that back in 2020, we were very still limited in our actions, because it was like everyone was dealing with health issues. There was no vaccine yet, and people distancing, and no one's going outside. And we were in this weird sort of time when that election was happening. Now people are coming around there. Wait, what? Why'd you shut down that poll over there? What's happening? Why are you ripping that sign out in the middle of nowhere that no one's ever going to see? It's not going to affect a single vote. How dare you do that? There's accountability that people are demanding now. There's so much more oversight. Are they going to try and steal this election? Oh, hell yes. Frankly, I'd be shocked if there weren't a couple of Republicans doing whatever they can to try and steal it back the other way. That's just reality as far as the human condition. Do I assume that it's far worse, that the Democrats are stealing a lot more? Yeah, because I think it's a lot more institutionalized, because the easiest place to steal is in a city. We have access to great numbers of votes and oversight. So if you're looking for corruption, those cities tend to be run by Democrats. So as far as there being mass influential fraud, clearly Democrats are far better positioned to engage in that type of nefarious conduct. And we've seen funky things happening in 2020, but now the right is so alert for it that even a small thing happening in one polling place that we're going to talk about in Bucks County, there's no one's giving any quarter to that. It's like, hell no. Hell no. And there's another huge advantage that I didn't even know was going to happen when I was predicting that we shouldn't have to worry as much in 2024. And that is this extended period of voting, of in-person voting, which is really a first. In 2020, we had a lot of mail-in ballots, and you had drop-off boxes. But you didn't have places, locations that you can show up to days, weeks in advance and cast your ballot. This is such a game changer. And look, obviously there could be pitfalls to this that we haven't considered and we may have yet to experience by engaging in an extended election season rather than just one election day. But the problem with there being just one election day is when you've got rampant fraud going in this location, that location, this location, that location, and 50 different places, you can't oversee it all. You can't. It's impossible. It's happening like everywhere. It's like almost like you're on a ship that's made out of tin and it's springing links all over the place, and you're like sticking your hand up like on the thing, and you're like, oh no, over there, oh wait, over there, oh no, you're sticking your foot up trying to plug up this hole and that hole and this hole and that hole. You're drowning. You're done. You're drowning. And now it's like, no, we can get Republicans in there, vote in person. And if there's a problem with the pens and the Sharpies, it's not like, oh my God, it's election day. It's 6:00. I need to get my ballot in there. Not too late. Like, all these problems have an opportunity to be sorted out. This is why I urge all of you, to hell with the mail voting. Don't do mail-in voting. Certain states, I know, only have mail-in voting, although I think Pennsylvania has what they call mail-in voting, but they have in-person mail-in voting. If you're in Pennsylvania, you have the opportunity to go into various locations, from what I understand, and request a mail-in ballot that you could fill out right there and hand to them right there, rather than leaving it out in the wild for some lunatic Antifa guy to set the box on fire, rather than leaving it in the hands of some crazy mail carrier 10 days before he goes postal and starts shooting up some supermarket because he's a freaking lunatic. So now you can actually hand it to the people who are designated to take care of your ballot. That's a game changer. That's a huge deal. That's a huge deal. And I urge all of you, don't wait till election day. No. Get out there. You know, it's up to be tomorrow, do a Friday, whatever it is, whatever time day works for you, get it out there. This way, God forbid, if there's some sort of problem, come back the next day. Hopefully it's not, 20 miles away from your house. And this way, it's not like a crisis. They're like, oh my God, I'm not going to get my ballot in there. You have thousands and thousands of people who are just working with a crazy deadline. And all of a sudden, oh, well, our machine's jammed. I mean, that's what happened in 2020. You might have forgotten. I didn't forget. All of a sudden, Arizona, this thing it's not showing up because the pens are the Sharpie pens, and this machine's jammed because it got the wrong size paper. And it's like, you're wondering, like, how many ballots are not going in, and they're dealing with provisional ballots, and there's all the nonsense and craziness there. We're just like, this is just insanity that we're deciding the leader of the free world. And like all these people who, they're saying every vote counts unless it's a Republican voting for a Republican. Then we sure as hell don't want those going in. Every vote counts. That's what democracy. So Yeah. So this extended voting period is a big win. It's a big win. And I love the fact that this is happening in the weeks, in the just handful of days, while people are going out in the hundreds of thousands, in the millions across the country and voting, that we have this amazing story unfolding where the president of the United States calls Trump voters garbage. It's almost like he's daring us. He's daring people to go out there and vote for Trump. That's what's so amazing about this. It's not some stupid lunatic comedian that no one ever heard of before. I mean, when I say nobody, 97% of the planet never heard of him. No, this is the president of the United States who called us garbage. It's the president. It's our president calling us garbage just because we don't vote the way he wants us to. And it happens to be the president who Kamala, swearing up and down, is completely sound of mind. Completely sound mind. Oh, he's totally sound mind. It happens to be the president who she's serving under, who she's like, oh, everything he's done is amazing. It's wonderful. He's a great leader. He's wonderful. He's amazing. It happens to be a president that former Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, says belongs on freaking Mount Rushmore. That's the guy who called half the country garbage. You can't, I mean, it's almost as if like sometimes it's almost like it's almost like it's a miracle. It's almost like it's a miracle. Because let's face it, no, Joe Biden doesn't know the words that are going to come out of his mouth a second and a half before it comes out. He doesn't know what's coming out. It's almost as if God moved his lips and tongue and teeth and got him to say the stupidest thing possible at the worst possible time for the Democrats. I'll share with you a story. I'll share with you a quick this is from sages of old, okay? This is from Jewish lore. From Jewish lore. You can make of this what you will. You can make of this what you will. There's a story that's told about a king. Well, don't worry, I'm coming back to this story. I'm diverting here. It's a good story. There's a story that's told about a king who was deathly ill. This goes back thousands of years. Thousands of years. He's deathly ill. And his doctors say that the only way that he can possibly be cured is by drinking lioness milk. Milk from a lioness. Where the hell are you going to get lioness milk? So he offered up great riches to whoever it is that would come to him and bring him lioness milk. Well, this guy goes down to the jungle, and every day he finds a lion's den or some lioness den, and he leaves some meat out for it and like runs away. And every day starts working. The next day he leaves some more meat out and lets the lion see his face. So the lioness gets familiar with his face. And the next day he comes back again and brings some more meat until every day he's working to get himself to get closer and closer to this lioness, that the lioness would feel comfortable with him, until after he's doing this for a week, 10 days, he's able to start actually petting the lioness as the lioness is eating. And after 2 weeks or so, the lioness is sufficiently comfortable with him that she allows him to basically milk her. Again, get the lioness milk. Travels back to the king, and the king says to him, and he says, on the way back, you can make of this part whatever you will. The different parts of his, this is, like I said, Jewish legend type of thing. Make of this part what you will, because this is going to sound a little bit difficult to understand. So there's basically an argument within his own body as to who it was, which part of his body was most important to which is the most powerful part of him that managed to accomplish this amazing feat of being able to milk a lioness. And his brain is saying, oh, it was my brilliance, how I came up with this. And his feet were saying, no, I was able to move the right way. And his hands were basically taking the position. No, that was that it was the way I was able to stroke the lioness's back and make her feel comfortable. And the tongue says, no, I'm more powerful than any of you. And they laugh. They're like, what are you? What are you? He comes to the king. He shows up in the king's courtyard, and they're like, "What are you doing here?" He said, "I came here with a remedy for the king." Like, what did you bring? He said, "I brought you dog's milk." Well, the king gets so outraged when he hears this guy. Everyone knows he needs lioness milk. He comes with goat's milk. He comes with dog milk. And he gets outraged, throws him in prison, and Tongue basically was proving a point. At the end of the day, what comes out of your mouth is ultimately going to be most influential as to like how people are going to receive you, how people are going to take you. And that's why I say to you right now, this is a crazy thing. It's the stupidest thing in the world. Who the hell, as president of the United States, would be so stupid, so crazed to actually formulate and cogitate to say a sentence like this is that I think his supporters are garbage. Floating garbage, when it's so obviously moronic and crazy. It's a lunatic type of thing to say, but sure enough, those words came out of his mouth, and you can't unring that bell. And they're going to sit there and try and twist it and claim, no, he meant this, he meant that. You're ready. If you already have to try and explain what he said, that's like you're appealing to the ref. If you're appealing to the ref, or you're blaming the ref, you lost. That's what happened. You lost. And this guy here, Donald Trump, is the master. When he sees an advantage that his opponents have given him, oh my God, does he lean in hard on it? Oh my God, he just will lean in and take that advantage of that. And it's not just him, it's his brilliant team that's working together with him also. Because out there on the campaign trail, it wasn't just him. No. No. Sorry for getting all Jewy on you there for a moment. But make you a little bit louder here. Vivek Ramaswamy rolling up on a garbage the back of a garbage truck. That's what this whole campaign is now.
Hey.
It's the garbage election.
USA!
You are amazing.
Ready to take out the garbage. Good to see you guys. Love you, brother. We took out some trash today. Good to see you. We took out some real trash. Good to see you, man. How are you? Very good. Good to see you.
He follows up by actually doing garbage work. He didn't just show up in it. He's like, no. Let me.
All right. Let's do it, man. I got it. Yeah. Tell me, what are we doing here? Okay. Right up to here.
I mean, look at how this is able to appeal to blue-collar workers and say, like, look, we respect you.
All right, sweet. Lift open, and then what are we doing?
I mean, this is just amazing. Everything about this is amazing.
Pull them both out.
It's miraculous. Crazy.
Doing it right? Pull this one back too, or you good? Sweet. Pretty good machinery, actually. It kind of works. Should I pull it back again?
No, just pull. This goes up.
Should I pull it?
Yeah, pull it out.
Pull it out? All right, man. Let's do it. Thank you. Looks pretty good. Yeah, the machinery's good. It's good machinery. I mean, it's
you
like
didn't even have to use the bat once.
no, I know exactly. Well, sometimes you might need to actually. It's a the machine.
I think the bat is to kill rats, right? I mean, that's what it is. You get a bat out in case there's like a rat in the garbage can, some sort of animal, some sort of, I don't know, raccoon in there or something. You're like, bam. I assume. I don't know. I've fortunately never had to do garbage work. Lady Lawgic takes oh my god. Colin's gonna show up in a middle-class garbage truck tomorrow. Trump wins, Vivek becomes U.S. Senator from Ohio. Maybe. I don't know. Fun fact, garbage top song 1990s is Stupid Girl, features lyrics about a woman's ambivalence. Nothing is real, just word salad. Nice. That is pretty funny. I hadn't thought of that. PSA to check your local sample ballot online ahead of time so you know what to vote for local races. This is true. This is true, indeed. Although, frankly, I just went straight down the line. Grim 42! New member of the following. Welcome aboard, Grim 42. Welcome. The Alliance is a stand-in for Harvey Weinstein. I'm not really getting that part. But I can't believe I told you all that line at start. When I started, I was like, I don't know. Maybe this is my maybe this is my garbage moment. But so let me share with you how this story has been unfolding all day today. Earlier this morning, we had Byron Donalds. Whoa, that wasn't what I was looking for. What happened there? There you go. Oh, we had Byron Donalds over here on CNN calling out how insane it is, the divisive rhetoric from the left.
My response is that the first statement from Joe Biden?
The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
Is the one that he truly believes. He does not think that people who disagree with him or his party, who support President Trump, are Americans. He thinks that they're garbage. That's a fact. And the reason what I go back to is 4 years ago, around this same time, it was Joe Biden that went on the Breakfast Club, and he famously said,
if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
That if you couldn't vote for him, then you weren't black. It's the same Joe Biden. Made the same type of statement 4 years ago. So this is consistent with who he is. Look, I think right now what we have is a contrast in presidential campaigns. Donald Trump has been on the campaign trail talking about fixing our country, ending a lot of the travesties from the Biden-Harris administration, making America great again. Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Tim Walz, for that matter, they're running around talking about the rally at MSG was a Nazi rally.
Donald Trump's got this big rally going at Madison Square Garden. There's a direct parallel to a big rally that happened in the mid-1930s at Madison Square Garden.
You stand by the comparison, though, to a Nazi rally?
Look, the rally, you saw it for yourself.
Well, Laura, I spoke at that rally. So did Harry O, the founder of Death Row Records. So did Vivek Ramaswamy. So did Tulsi Gabbard. I don't think the Nazis will let us speak at their rally. So that hateful rhetoric is coming from the left, and it's got to stop.
Byron Donalds is amazing. He really is. This guy, I hope he steers clear of all scandals, because if he manages to steer clear of all scandals, he has a very, very bright political future. You never know what's going to happen. You never know when someone's going to turn, but he's incredibly intelligent and well valued, seems to be of great moral character. Just he's such a great congressman. He's one of my favorite people in Congress. He's so good. If you missed the statement that Joe Biden's team put out for him, trying to correct what he said, this is what they put out. Earlier today, I referred to the hateful rhetoric about Puerto Rico spewed by Trump's supporter at his Madison Square Garden rally as garbage. Oh, yeah. No, he said his supporters. The only garbage is his supporters, which is the only word I can think of to describe it. His demonization of Latinos is unconscionable. That's all I meant to say. The comments at that rally don't reflect who we are as a nation. That's what his team put out. And that was the message that Karine Jean-Pierre was trying to throw out there. That was the cover that Karine Jean-Pierre was trying to throw out there. It's a little louder for you also.
Address the president's comments yesterday referring to Trump's supporter as garbage. And
A couple of things. So just to clarify, he was not calling Trump supporters garbage.
He obviously was, which he obviously was.
The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
Which is why he put out, this is why he wanted to make sure that we put out a statement that
at least you're able to admit he didn't write it himself. He wanted us to put out.
Clarified what he meant and what he was trying to say.
The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
And so just want to make that very clear for folks who are watching. And I just want to read that out to folks. So he was regarding to the comedian, and I quote, "I referred to the hateful rhetoric about Puerto Rico spewed by Trump's supporter at his Madison Square Garden rally as garbage, which is the only word I can think of to describe it. His demonization of Latinos is unconscionable. That's all I meant to say. The comments at the rally don't reflect who we are as a nation." And to your question, your other question that you asked, no, he does not view Trump supporters or anybody who supports Trump as garbage. That is not what he views.
He very clearly does.
The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
He very clearly does view us as garbage. We all heard his hateful rhetoric that when he talked about ultra MAGA. We all heard it. We've all heard him say it. We've all seen him try to silence us over and over again. We've all seen it. We've all heard. We all know it. Everyone knows this is true, and that this is ridiculous desperation to try and spin away from the hot mess that was created when God made his tongue move. That's what we all saw. Where is I have here Kamala? Where are you, Kamala? Kamala, there she is. Here's Kamala being asked about it. I'm giving a weak sauce answer.
Do you sympathize with any voters who do feel offended by or insulted by the garbage comments?
Are you going to apologize? Do you sympathize with them? That's the question. She doesn't really answer that question.
I am running for president of the United States. I will be traveling to 3 states today.
Not relevant. Why the hell are you even starting with this? What made you think to start your response with this? No one knows, because your brain is basically as adult as Joe Biden's.
To do what I have been doing throughout, which is talking with the American people about the fact that, first of all, I get it in terms of the concerns they have about challenges like the price of groceries.
Do you sympathize with any voters who do feel offended by or insulted by the garbage comments?
This is not the clip that I would thought.
I am running for president of the United States. I will be traveling to 3 states today to do what I have been doing throughout, which is talking with the American people about the fact that, first of all, I get it in terms of the concerns they have about challenges like the price of groceries.
What does that have to do with the garbage remark? What the hell does that have to do with anything? What the hell does that have to do with anything? Seriously, what does that have to do with anything? There was another clip from her where she said something to the effect of, "I would never say anything hateful." I don't want to mislead you all into thinking that she did not say anything about it. She did make some comment. Let me find it. I'm literally searching for Kamala garbage response, and what I realized when I searched that in is that can give me thousands of hits. If you ever search for Kamala's garbage response, obviously a lot of responses are garbage. This shows you how clueless they are. We won't lose Response to Biden's garbage comment: "We won't lose a single voter because of it." Really? Really? Okay. All right. You go with that. You go with that. I thought I had. Here's what I was looking for. Here's what I was looking for.
President Biden. Just his comment last night about garbage.
Listen, I think that, first of all, he clarified his comments, but
So everything's fine. Everything's fine.
let me be clear. I strongly disagree with any criticism of people based on who they vote for. You heard my speech last night and continuously throughout my career. I believe that the work that I do is about representing all the people, whether they support me or not.
That's definitely not the case.
And as President of the United States, I will be a president for all Americans.
Same promise that Biden made before he made his whole ultra MAGA speech and stood up there like the crazy tyrant that he was. These are obvious lies.
Whether you vote for me or not, that is my responsibility, and that's the kind of work that I've done my entire career. And
Never done. You've never. It's difficult to see what work you've done that has actually helped people in your
take
career.
it very seriously. Have you spoken about?
All right, so that was one response. There's another one here that I have not yet seen. This is unvetted, so I don't know. But I see this one that she's supposedly responding to it. So let's check this out together.
Making your closing.
Oh, that's loud.
Pitch for unity last night. President Biden was calling his supporters garbage. What did you think when you heard President Biden make those comments?
Well, first of all, I think that the president has explained what he meant. But I've said it earlier. I strongly disagree with any.
What did I say earlier? I strongly disagree with
A criticism of people based on who they vote for. And that I've made that clear throughout my career, including my speech last night before I think this all happened, which is I intend to be president for all Americans, and including those who may not vote for me in this election. I take very seriously my obligation and my oath to concern myself
swallow
first with the needs of the American people and put them before whatever might be my selfish issues.
All right. All right. So that was Kamala's response to it. But there's a lot more to this story. There's a lot more. The White House put out a transcript of what he said. And here we see in real time, desperately trying to spin it as if he said something other than what we all heard him say. And just the other day, a speaker's rally called, this is what they wrote. This is wh.gov. Called Puerto Rico a, quote, floating island of garbage. Well, let me tell you something. I don't know the Puerto Rican that I know, or a Puerto Rican where I'm from. In my home state of Delaware, they're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters with an apostrophe, not his supporters, just which was clearly a period when he said was his supporters. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. No, it's not that. It's his supporters, apostrophe, meaning comedian Kill Tony's. His demonization of Latinos is unconscionable. It's un-American. It's totally contrary to everything we've done, everything we've been. Unbelievable. Unbelievable how desperately they're trying to cover here. I don't know. I guess someone is afraid it's going to affect him. It's going to affect an election. Well, Congresswoman Elise Stefanik was not having it.
Or Puerto Rico, where I'm.
That was what I wanted. She wrote this letter. Let me save this. Let me post so I can make it a little bigger for you. To the Edward Siskel, Assistant to President of the White House Counsel. Dear Mr. Siskel, in less than 1 week, the American people will determine the winner of the 2024 presidential election. They will choose between two candidates, President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris. President Biden, marred by unpopular policies, scandal, and apparent cognitive deterioration, has chosen not to pursue a second term in office. President Biden, however, has continued to play a prominent role in Vice President Harris's campaign and indeed is the most powerful mouthpiece for the Biden-Harris administration's policies and views that Ms. Harris presumably seeks to continue under a hypothetical Harris-Walz administration. Americans were rightfully insulted then when President Biden, seeking to boost Ms. Harris's presidential campaign, referred to an enormous swath of the country as floating garbage. President Biden's vindictive words were unsurprising, given his previous statements regarding people who choose not to vote for his preferred candidate. Unsurprising, too, were the White House's actions after he said them. Instead of apologizing or clarifying President Biden's words, the White House instead sought to change them, despite them being recorded on video, by releasing a false transcript of his remarks. The move is not only craven, but it appears to be in violation of federal law, including the Presidential Records Act of 1978. There you go. Always good to throw some law at them. White House staff cannot rewrite the words of the President of the United States to be more politically on message. Though President Biden's relevance continues to diminish, his words continue to matter, even as they become increasingly divisive and erratic. We write to demand the White House retain and preserve all documents and internal communications regarding President Biden's statement and the release of the inaccurate transcript. We also demand the White House issue a corrected transcript with the accurate words. If you have any questions regarding this letter, please contact Jake Greenberg, etc., etc. Courtesy Elise Stefanik, chairwoman of the House Republican Conference. So there you go. She ain't too impressed. I ain't impressed with that. Washington Post also trying to throw some cover here. Did Biden call Trump supporters garbage? It comes down to an apostrophe. You know, where were they with the whole "they're rapists" thing? Where were they with that one? Was it THEIR or THEY apostrophe RE? Where were they on that one? Because I don't remember them talking about the apostrophe of "they're rapists" when they were talking about the Mexican comments that Trump made back in 2017 or so. 2016. No. Instead, they just said, oh my God, he called all of them rapists. Oh, that's what he did. That's what he did. When actually, if you saw the entire statement in context, he really did put an apostrophe in there. Because he said, they're not sending us their best. They're sending us their thieves, they're communists, they're drug users. And then he pauses like, they're rapists. It's like it wouldn't even make sense to say they are rapists. He was saying they're rapists. That's who they're sending us. No, Washington Post wasn't concerned about apostrophes back then. No. What about the whole fine people hoax? All of a sudden now they're very into parsing out words. When it comes to Trump, whole different yardstick. We're going to read and twist his words into the most possible. They're so devious and just insidious with the way they try and spin truth. Whatever truth is, they're going to spin it to the opposite every time. They twist Trump's words into being the most evil thing possible, and they twist Biden's actual evil words into being totally innocuous and inane. Tim Walz, what does he do when he's questioned on this? When he's asked about this, what's his take on this whole thing?
I want to put it into a larger context of your recent comment comparing the Sunday Trump rally to a Nazi rally. And I would also throw in there Obama's bitter clingers, guns and religion comment from a while back, the deplorable line from Hillary Clinton's campaign, and the way that Democrats are seen by some voters as disrespecting them. And I have to ask, does that undercut this closing message of unity from your campaign?
What a well put question from CBS. It's such a perfectly framed question. It's hard to imagine how that came out of a CBS reporter's mouth. But yeah, I mean, let's look at the history here as to what you guys have been calling the whole freaking country, and one after another. It's not one of you; it's all of you doing it. So this question is, let's get back to the way it gives all these different examples.
And I have
what's Walls going to say?
To ask, does that undercut this closing message of unity from your campaign?
No, certainly not.
I want to put it into a larger...
Of course not. No. How would that do that? Why would it do that? Why would that do that? We talked earlier about screeching Sonny Hostin, how nuts she went over Kill Tony's comments, pretending that Trump himself had said it, and getting very mean-faced, very mean-faced. Well, here's the View today. Again, this is just, it's always the right that's in the wrong.
But it's intellectually dishonest for his supporters to suddenly be offended by President Biden slip up, because
slip up. Now it's a slip up. When President Biden does it, it's a slip up. When you're twisting Trump's words, that's clearly what he meant. It's a dog whistle. When he says peacefully and patriotically, he doesn't even say bad words. We're going to twist that into what he's really saying is go get a noose for Mike Pence. But now, when he says, oh, yeah, his supporters are garbage, that's just a slip up. It's just a slip up. Psycho bitch.
I do believe it was a slip up. After all...
Of course you believe that, because you're just going to throw cover for the Democrats no matter how twisted and evil they are.
After all that their guy has said, he called all of America a garbage can.
No, he said you're turning... There's a difference between talking about people and saying you're turning America into a garbage can. But they put the little applause sign up there, so all the barking seals in their audience are going to go...
All of America.
For the record, we all actually agree on this. Yeah. I think that there's
we all agree on this. Oh yeah, because I'm supposed to be the pretty Republican member of the panel here. So I'm just going to agree with everything because you just pay me enough money that I'm just a complete sellout.
Cognitive dissonance. If Trump says something crazy and we dismiss it, but we all get outraged when someone else says. I just think to move beyond the era of Trump, you need leaders who aren't going to call names, who aren't going to play to his level. And that's why she did.
Oh, well, Kamala did not. It's just her Lord and Savior, the one whose policies she plans on continuing because he was so perfect. I can't think of a single thing that he did wrong. Well, what about that freaking Red Scare dark MAGA speech he gave? No, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Idiots. So dishonest. They're literally insane. Literally insane. But we should anticipate that everyone from MAGA is going to keep, and we need to keep pushing on this. Keep pushing on this over and over again.
I want to address
this is Brett Favre
comment that Joe Biden made yesterday,
Trump
last night, that said the supporters of Donald Trump, us, or garbage. I can assure you we're not garbage. How dare he say that looking out? I see police officers, teachers, nurses, grandparents, students. I see everyday Americans that make this country great. I want to address
So that was Brett Favre talking about it. And the last two things I want to share with you are Trump's reaction because he doesn't really like. It's not very Trumpian for him to go around there dressed as a garbage man, and yet he did it at his rally tonight. He didn't just do it when he made his appearance earlier today. He did it when he walked out in front of tens of thousands of people at tonight's rally, and this is him addressing it as only Trump can.
They got all the
Sorry about that. Gosh, so annoying.
these people here. There's no way I'm wearing it on stage. They said,
He's like, I don't want to wear that vest on stage.
"Oh, okay, sir." I said, "Get me my jacket." But if you did, you know, it actually makes you look thinner. I said, oh. And they got me. I said, I want to wear it on stage. When they said I look thinner, I said, in that case, I'll wear it on stage.
That's such a refreshing comment from him. It really is. He's so good at this. Well, anyway, and apparently dissatisfied with the fact that they just put out a written statement for Biden, apparently they prepped him to put out an audio statement correcting himself. I don't know how many of you saw this, but he actually fixed. He tried fixing. I think, frankly, he made it a little worse, but he actually made an appearance and spoke and actually addressed his comments about garbage rather than just having a pre-written statement written up for him. And this is him explaining what he meant.
My fellow Americans and the other half of you that is garbage, it's your boy Dank Brandon here. I wanted to take a moment to explain what I meant when I called half the country garbage. Look, garbage isn't always a bad thing. Sure, you stink and no one wants to see you, but you can become something useful when properly handled, like fertilizer. So basically, yes, you're shit, but you have the potential to be more. Anyways, vote for Cackles or don't. I don't give two shits anymore. Dank Brandon out.
There you go. There you go. Okay. So, not to be mislabeled as fake news, I should clarify that I think there's a significant possibility that the last video I shared with you may have had some AI alterations that were laced in there. That's possible. It's possible that there was a tiny little bit of AI alterations that may have affected, may have done a little something there. Possibly. Can't say for certain. This possibly is a chance. There's a chance. So I don't want you to think that that's definitely what he said, because it's not. It's certainly not definite that that's what he said. But apparently, this is what you're about to see now. Is definitely what Kamala said. Definitely what Kamala said, and not a fake video. This is really Kamala Harris, presidential hopeful Kamala Harris.
I love electric school buses. I just love them for so many reasons. Maybe because I went to school on a school bus. Hey, raise your hand if you went to school on a school bus, right? I love electric.
Funny. What is she laughing about? Like, no one knows what she's laughing about. No one knows.
Electric school buses.
What do you
I just love them for so many reasons. Maybe because I went to school on a school bus. Hey, raise your hand if you went to school on a school bus, right?
What a weirdo. So weird. So incredibly weird, that woman. I guess perhaps Perhaps it's her weirdness and her inability to actually hold someone's attention that when she gave her speech last night in DC, they literally fenced in the audience, keeping them locked inside. This is not made up. This is true. They fenced in the audience, keeping them locked inside. So if you wanted to escape her speech, you literally had to do this. She should get like a t-shirt saying, "I escaped a Kamala Harris rally." They locked everyone in. People climbing, desperately scaling. It's like prison break. They're scaling the walls, trying to get away from Kamala Harris. This is your future, America. This is the future of America that votes for Kamala Harris. You're going to be climbing over walls trying to get away from her. Unbelievable. They're all just like, how do we get out of here? What do we have to do to get out of here? Unbelievable. Yeah, it's true. She doesn't like border walls. She only likes walls to keep people out. I mean, to keep people in, not to keep people out. Now, to be fair with you all, apparently these fences were supposedly erected for the purpose of keeping out the Free Palestine folks from basically invading and destroying Kamala's rally. So I don't want to mislead any of you. The given explanation, at the very least, is that they were trying to keep out the Free Palestine people, not to unlawfully detain anyone who was unfortunate enough to attend her rally. But do you not realize how you can't have doors and someone standing by a door let people in or out? Couldn't do that. And apparently fences, Kamala thinks fences work now. Apparently she thinks fences work, keep folks out, keeps out Free Palestine. But speaking of her crowds, yesterday I shared a video with you with someone who was talking about how they were busing in her crowds, and I showed you a lineup of buses, and he was like, "Don't believe the crowd sizes. She's literally busing these folks in, busing them in from God knows where." And we saw, and like that's why, and it made like a lot of sense when I saw that video, because I was like, yeah, that explains why there's a geriatric center. It looks like a geriatric. They got them all from the same place. Some geriatric center at one of her rallies. Well, this is another one of her rallies, which I don't know. One of her supporters was saying, "Look how exciting it is to be at one of her rallies." And I want to just ask you, what do you notice about this video? This is from her rally. I don't know. It was last night, 2 nights ago. Ask yourself what you notice about this. It seems weird. I'll tell you what I see. What I see is, yet again, we see a very unusual, very homogenous intersectionality, right? It's either all old white people, or now this is all young black folks. But the other thing that's very weird to me is how do you get like 50 people to all know the same dance steps like that to some weird, is this a known dance? Maybe you guys know. Is that a known dance what they're doing there? And that's what I was thinking. I was like, oh, it's so nice that George Soros splurged this time for a dance troupe. And I had someone, when I commented that, someone said, oh, this is Igor. It seems like Igor is drinking a lot of the vodka, implying that I'm some Russian agent who's drunk. And I was just like, I don't know about you, Mary Poppins, but like flash mobs don't really break out where I'm at. Maybe, you know, rival gangs in your city are called the Jets and the Sharks. But all of a sudden, everyone knows the same dance moves? How does everyone know the same stupid dance moves? How's that possible? That's the electric slide? That's not the electric slide. Now I need to know. Now I'm curious. Now you all got me curious. I got to know. Is that the electric slide? Let's see. It's electric. At least that would explain it. What the hell is that? Hold on a freaking second here. Ah. Well, I have it there. This is the electric slide. That's not what they were doing. That's not what they were doing. That's not what they were doing. I don't know what you're all talking about. That was not the electric slide. They were not doing that. Y'all crazy. Y'all crazy. That is not the same dance. That's not at all the same dance. Please. This has something where they're moving, and every time they finish their set of moves, they twist to a different. The chicken dance, like the chicken dance, is sort of going in a circle. First, I'm facing like north, then I'm facing east, then south, then west. That's what this dance is. Electric slide isn't like that at all. No. I'm not obsessed. I need to get to the bottom of this. I need to get to the bottom of this. All right, I'll let it go. All right. Two more things I want to share with you before I start getting into all the different wins and different court things that were happening today around the election. This is a great breakdown from Bill Ackman talking about the comparison between Trump campaign and the Biden campaign. And I was like, this is really well laid out. And I want to just, I will watch all of it because 7 minutes is a little long for me, but this is such a great detailed breakdown here.
Who is the Vice President Harris team? Right? On Trump's side, we have Trump, we have Musk, we have RFK, we have Tulsi Gabbard, we have Vivek Ramaswamy. These are actually very, very capable people that have kind of joined the team. And once he actually wins, I think that a lot more very capable people are going to sign up. And I think if you look at the issues that they're focused on, Musk is focused on everything from regulation to government efficiency to waste and cutting costs. And he's obviously pretty good at that. He let go 80% of X, and it's a much more highly functioning, better product today. Kennedy's going to focus on, corruption, pharma, making America's healthy. These are, I think, critical issues for the country. By the way, part of the reason why our budget's out of balance is we have such an unhealthy populace.
Mm-hmm.
We spend an absolute fortune, as you know, on healthcare, and we have the worst health outcomes of any, major country in the world. If we can change that alone, we're going to save an enormous amounts of money. Compounding is one of the most powerful forces in the world, and that if we can actually change the growth trajectory of the United States, instead of growing at these very low single-digit growth, 2% or 2.5%, which is kind of what we've achieved in the last number of decades, and we can take that to 3.5%, 4%, the implications for the poor, for meeting our obligations, for scientific advancement, for national defense, for a safer world, are very, very powerful. And it sounds like such a small difference, but with the passage of time, that's one of the powerful forces that you learn about when you're in my industry. I'd love to see it apply in the government. So I'm excited about a Trump-Musk administration, and I credit to Trump. I think the other point I would make here, and I do think this is a really important election, is that strong leaders are not afraid to bring on talented people.
And this is a great point. This is a great point. There's a certain maturation that I think we're seeing in Donald Trump, where he's comfortable delegating to people who might deserve some of their own spotlight. The Trump that we saw 8 years ago was surrounded by a bunch of unknown individuals. The only reason you knew them was because they were part of the Trump campaign. But outside of that atmosphere, they were completely unknown, or relatively unknown. I mean, he had Bannon. Okay. Who knew Sebastian Gorka 10 years ago? No one knew him 10 years ago. We all got introduced to him 8 years ago. Rice, what's his name? Rice Prebert? I don't know, I'm drawing a blank now. All the people around him were just complete unknowns. And this time he's bringing in like one known, powerful, competent, capable individual after another and ascribing them to various areas, and each of them standing on their own are individuals who have genuine capability, talent, and achievement on their resume.
And work alongside them. J.D. Vance is an extremely intelligent, articulate debater. Compare Tim Walz in terms of, I would say, mental acuity, talent, life achievement versus J.D. Vance. So I think
that's what I should have found. The garbage man can. The garbage man can. The garbage man can. That's what I should have gotten. Thank you, Uncivil. For those curious, I believe the bat is to hit the bottom can to knock out stuck trash like you're hitting a ketchup bottle. Just saying. I'm a little behind. I missed some of these chats. I like the line story. I don't mind you getting all Jewy. Maybe you should have great logic on one night, educate us more on Jewish Israel history. I was actually thinking about doing a locals tonight where I was going to explain the historic connection between Jews and socialism, which is something I only learned about. I've been reading about it over the last couple of days. And I've been fascinated to learn why, in its infancy, Jews were connected to socialism and how that got transposed even when they came here. And this is when the view of socialism. This is before socialism had ever been tried before. Like literally from when Karl Marx was first formulating it. And I was thinking about doing a locals. If you guys are interested, and I was thinking about doing a locals. I'm gonna make a, I should have put a goal up here. All right, I'm gonna make a new goal. We'll say 20 super chats of $10 or higher. We'll make it for up to 2 hours. I just put a goal up there. But I'm curious if you guys would want a locals after show about the connection between Jews and socialism, from the historic connection. No, I don't want a Q&A. Let me start a poll here. Start a poll, create a poll. So I was telling Lady Lawgic, I was like, I don't know if people really want that. Maybe some would, but we'll see. All right. If Biden could dictate the complex statement for KJP to read, then why is he still not running? Yeah, he couldn't do that. I'm sorry for being a bit vulgar tonight, Joe and company. You're always forgiven. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You're a member for 14 months. You're forgiven. B-Star, gifting 1 good Lawgic membership. God bless you. I like when people do that. Let's give you a little horn there. Alia News. The full Trump speech about the vest had me laughing out loud. It was great. I hate school buses because I went to school on. Funny that she put up the walls to prevent hecklers, but then Joe did the Zoom during her speech. Yeah. It just completely destroyed her. That is pretty funny. At first, when you said Joe, I was like, wait, me? I was like, oh, you mean Biden with the garbage, right? Glad people are wise to her geriatrics by now. Or geriatrics. It's not the election slide. Likely all the same HBCU or sorority. That's possible. Joe, do you know the Macarena, right? Hey, Macarena. That's not. Macarena is you put your hands like this and on your hips. That wasn't what they were doing. There are dozens of line dances. Could be cha-cha slide, Cupid shuffle, or the wobble. Maybe. I'll be honest, Trump must have got this one. Q Revere says, no way this cast is accepted in 2016. Look at what happened with first RFK Jr. health attempt. No way. It had to be this way. We weren't ready. Are now. Yeah, that's a fair point. That's a fair point. We weren't ready. It was not the right time for that. This is the right time for it. It's true. Charles, always say the number of your goal as your last goal had a color I was unfamiliar with. Okay. Yeah, this is a yellow goal tonight, which means it could be orange, but it's got to be $10 or higher. I was looking for 20 of those or more. Are you paying for votes? Should be. All right. Where was I at? I know what I did wrong here. I accidentally streamed this to my Trump trial. I meant to stream it to X. So I'm going to actually cut that out now. I'm going to remove the Trump trial. If you're watching there, come on over to the main channel. I'm going to remove it from there, and I'm going to turn this on in X. I don't know how this happened. I'm going to start streaming to X now. So, hi, X people. Also, I had a rant that came in from Entropy Nomad saying, I mail it today. That's a work of art. Trump's fist in the air from the attempt in red, white, and blue relief. One word, vote. Going to have to frame it. Sounds cool. Sounds pretty damn cool. Don't forget to smash that like, you garbage Trump supporters. Johnny Reb says, Donna. bastard. I'm wearing my Adopt a Highway Volunteer Trash Day t-shirt to work tomorrow. I love it. That's a great idea. That's a great idea. Let's get back to Bill Ackman here.
I think that speaks to what the leadership team will look like in a Trump administration, and I'm excited about it. There are two ways to resolve debt. One way is to...
This point he's about to make here is a really interesting point that I had not considered. This is Bill Ackman. He's explaining the distinction between the Trump team and the Biden team, and so far extolling the virtue of the Trump team.
Cut expenses. Yeah. Another way is to grow revenues. But ultimately, you need to grow the value of the asset that the debt's secured by to make the leverage comfortable. That's one way to think about it. And so the Trump approach is, I'm going to accelerate the growth of the country. And the way I'm going to do that is, one, I'm going to eliminate a lot of regulations that are holding back, that make no sense and are actually holding back economic progress. And if you think about how long it takes to build a bridge in the United States, or build a building, or even build a home, and the nature of the approvals you have to get, and the number of government agencies, you look at the Biden administration.
And
right?
to be honest with you, a lot of those regulations are at the state or city level, not necessarily at the federal level. Certainly with homes and buildings. So I don't know how much red tape he'll be able to clear up on that, but there's a lot of federal regulations that he could help eradicate.
$42 billion for rural internet access, and no one's been connected, and it's been years.
Thank you,
right?
Angel.
$7 or $8 billion for a dozen charging stations.
Okay, this is possible. Autobahn, this is possible. You might be able to come up with a dance that it is, which explains somehow that they're all from the same thing, that they know it and they get it and they understand it. That's possible. You tell me it's bus stop line dance? Okay, maybe. It's not the electric slide. All you who would tell me electric slide, that's just not true. We saw the electric slide, looked nothing like that thing that they were doing. Joe, do you think Kamala will certify the election if Trump wins as current president of the Senate? Under the new statute, she has to. They actually passed the statute. One of the things I was talking about was that back in 2021, when I was on X Spaces briefly today, and frankly, I was very frustrated because the law that I was hearing there was kind of accurate and in certain ways very inaccurate and misleading when they were having a debate there between left and right. And I wasn't able to really grab the microphone, and I wasn't really crazy with the way things were happening in that space. So I was like, all right, I'm not going to talk here. And when I am, I'm just sort of being shuttled. So I'm like, you don't want my content tonight? I don't need to be here. You're the ones who invited me. You're the ones who asked me to come. It's weird. It depends on the nature of the conversation as to how. Sometimes they'll give me the mic for like seemingly hours, and sometimes they'll just be like, yeah, not tonight. And I think it really depends on who the host is, frankly. But anyhow, maybe not. I should amend that. Nah, I think it might be the topic. Anyhow, what I was talking about was, and one of the things we're talking about is back in 2021 with respect to the alternate slave electors and all that other stuff that happened there. So there was the state of the law was basically rooted in the language of the 12th Amendment. And the question that surrounded was, what is the role of the president of the Senate, which is the vice president, is the president of the Senate. And it says the president of the Senate is the one who's supposed to call out which votes are certified and recognize them. I can pull up the language of the 12th Amendment. But it says that's the duty of the president of the Senate. But it's you can read it if you want to, just standing alone, the 12th Amendment, as he's basically no different from some show model on a game show who's like, and here's a shiny red car, and here's 54 electoral votes from California. That you could look at it like that that's the role of the president of the Senate. Or you could look at it as it's his, or in this case, her duty to determine that it's a valid slate of electors. And if they question whether it's a valid slate of electors, to pause before validating it and to assess the legitimacy of it. I think the latter explanation is a more logical explanation. And that's what Trump was saying in the latter explanation. He's like, no, you're supposed to be making sure that they're actually valid. And if you see dueling slates of electors, say, look, we got 2 here. I don't know what's going on. Congress has to decide what to do with this situation because we have dueling electors. That's what the 12th Amendment seems to imply. It's not the first time 2021 is not the first time this came up. This came up 1961 when Kennedy versus Nixon with the state of Hawaii. But anyhow, the reason it didn't become as much of an issue in 1960 because Nixon ceded it over to Kennedy. But this is an interpretation of law that's never been addressed. And as I've explained to you all many, many times, the law is an unknown creature until it's tested. And in the analogy I've given, in case you haven't heard me explain this in the past, is this. Here's the perfect analogy. The nature of your relationship with friends when you meet someone new and you're getting along and you're friendly. The question is, what type of friend are we? Are we people going to call each other? Are we going to text each other? Are we going to hang out together? And that tends to evolve over time, obviously. But the parameters are sort of unknown until one person tests it and does something different than what happened before. And now the question is, when the other person reacts to it, do they seem accepting of it and okay with it or pleased with it? And it's not just between two friends, it could be in a romantic relationship also. So a guy and a girl go out, it's like, okay, so what's the nature of a relationship with respect to physical contact with each other? And it's sort of a matter of like, you sort of test, what is she comfortable with? What's she not comfortable with? So, or between two guys, can I call directly or should I text first? What's the nature of our relationship? Okay. It's like that in law also. A statute is written or an amendment is written, and you can look at it one of two ways, that it's supposed to be this way, it's supposed to be that way. Well, depending on how people deal with it, if someone says, okay, I'm looking at it this way, and no one challenges them on it, then over time, it starts becoming an accepted norm that this is how we interpret this statute, this ambiguous statute, which could be read two ways. This is how we interpret it. And it becomes an accepted practice over time, so much so that it starts becoming the law. Well, what happens if someone tries doing something and others are like, whoa, you can't do that. The statute doesn't mean that, even though it's worded in this ambiguous way. We think that the meaning is something else. Well, then they take them to court. And it's only after you go to court and you get a decision, and frankly, a decision that reaches at the Supreme Court level, that they're the ultimate authority, is like, no, this is what the statute means. And this is how it gets affected. And that's how law operates. Well, with the 12th Amendment, it had never been tested out before. Is the vice president or the president of the Senate, is that individual a game show hostess who's basically saying, and here's 34 electoral votes from New York? Or is it actually their determination? And because we've never had it before, no one's tried it before, and no one's tried it and then been challenged and then go to court before, it's an unknown thing. That anyone who claims I know what it is lying to you. It's not true. Nobody could know, because the only way we could know is if someone tried it, it got challenged, and then the court said, no, this is what the 12th Amendment means. So as of January 6, 2021, it was an unknown thing, and frankly, probably will remain unknown for the rest of humankind. Because after the January 6, 2021, when Trump and his team said, no, he's not just a game show hostess. The reason that it specifically has to be the president of the Senate is because the president has a duty. That president of the Senate has a duty to be the one who makes the final call here. You can't just have some sergeant at arms. You can't just have some clown who shows up there, some janitor who's like, oh, look, I found some ballots over here, some electoral votes over here. I'll call it out. No, that's the person who makes the determination. So it's a logical thing to say, hey, look, the reason that the 12th Amendment specifically references the president of the Senate is because this is an important function. It's not just some game show hostess who's basically calling out electoral votes. So that's a logical interpretation that Trump put out there, that everyone tried assailing his legal team as if they're trying to like do some sort of insurrection by giving a legal interpretation, which frankly is the most logical legal interpretation. And frankly, it's also what Congress seemed to recognize as the best interpretation. And you want to know how we know that Congress looked at it as the best interpretation and an actual reasonable interpretation? It's because after January 6, 2021, they wrote a statute. And that statute says, hey, from now on, the president of the Senate is just some game show hostess saying, here's the ballots, and has no authority at all. That's what the statute is written, and that came after January 6, 2021, and that is what's potentially dictating, I'll explain in a moment, potentially dictating what the role of Kamala Harris is on January 6, 2025. That she's just literally looking like a game show hostess. She can wear a nice flowing gown and say, and here's Ohio, damn it, going to Trump. So here's 19 electoral votes from Pennsylvania for Trump. That's what she's going to have to do under that statute. Now, you could make an argument that the statute is frankly unconstitutional because it's looking to change the 12th Amendment. You could make that argument. It's because if you say the 12th Amendment says they're not just a game show host, well, in that case, and that they do have a duty and a function of interpreting accurate ballots, legitimate ballots, legitimate electoral votes or not, well, then Congress can't write some statute that would change that because the amendment says that gives that power to the president of the Senate. How does Congress passing some statute able to change what the amendment says? So if that's what it's a question, what the hell that statute that Congress passed in 2021 is actually doing. Either the amendment says A or it says not A. And if it says A, meaning it says that they're a game show hostess, well, in that case, you don't need to write a statute. And if it says they're not a game show hostess and they actually have a function, then Congress has no jurisdiction to change that, which is some stupid statute. So it's almost like you can question what the hell's happening here. Why are you passing this statute? It doesn't do anything. But there you go. I guess I'll watch it here, but no longer mod. Oh, you were mod on the other channel. There you go. The Jewish story you told made me laugh. Good. I'm glad. 6 days, and so far the machinations have been exposed on X numerous times, and they've in injunction after injunction. We may actually see a successful right-wing populist victory here. You're feeling it, aren't you, IWD? You're feeling it. Oh, yeah. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. I still remember that you went by IWD. You'll always be IWD to me. Well worded and true. Schmuck is a schmuck, bro. Move on, .org. I don't know what you're talking about, bro. X spaces are for dummies. It's true. But now you just came in. So no one was there until I turned X spaces on. We will always be the BFFs. Oh, well, there you go. Have USSC reversing Chevron, the United States Supreme Court reversing Chevron, help Trump to get things done? No, frankly, it probably makes it harder because the executive agency had a great deal of power under Chevron, and that's been stripped away. So it probably makes it harder. You also need to watch Phil Murphy and Joe Kernan. I don't know who those people are. Phil Murphy and Joe Kernan. I'll try to check them out.
So
thank you.
The government is notoriously inefficient, and then you have all of the all of the regulatory. So I think one, a master review of all the regulatory kind of quagmire, and set up the country efficiently. Two, I think having Elon Musk as your partner in this enterprise, I think, is a huge home run. Right. So when was the last time we heard about a presidential candidate talking about cutting waste in government?
That's an amazing question he's asked just there. When is the last time you ever heard anyone in government talk about cutting waste? Can you remember it? Ever?
So having a Department of Government efficiency, I think, makes tremendous sense. So eliminate waste. No one likes waste. Accelerate growth. And among that, reduce the cost of energy, which is embedded in the cost of everything. And we grow our way. And we improve our efficiency way out of the problem. And that's how we do it. And the United States kind of unleashed. Right, this is still the most entrepreneurial nation in the world.
Yes.
AI is this incredibly powerful technology that is going to be transformative. And I think that's how we're going to solve the problem. We solve it with growth and efficiency. And imagine how much more gets done, how many more people get employed, how much wages ultimately go up in a world in which it's easier to get things done. Because there are a lot of people who want to build things, want to build houses, want to start companies, want to grow their businesses that are being held back by the way that our very inefficient government oversees the country.
You say no one likes waste, and I think I know what you mean. I would argue that the people who benefit from all of this bureaucracy and corruption and, we started talking about DEI. I mean, DEI in government is a huge industry, and none of those people want to cut waste because that's their salary.
I hear you, but...
That's a great point. Denise says, in that case back in 1960, the judge said it was really good the Democrats had alternative electors. Otherwise, they wouldn't have known what to do.
I don't think there's a lot of sympathy for people who are benefiting by waste.
Oh, also, vote stupid phone. It's not at all fat finger issues. Because you're a Joe, I'm going to wear a trash bag over my clothes to vote. We should all do this and do the Trump dance after you vote. I wish I'd thought of that. I already voted, but
and the result will be a much more efficient, effective economy. There's a book, I think it's called Bullshit Jobs. I think we have a lot of bullshit jobs, unfortunately, in government, and I think we need to eliminate them. You look at the education system; it hasn't changed in 100 years. The typical schoolhouse, one teacher gets up in front of a group of students. It's we're spending enormous amounts of money, particularly.
All right, so I didn't get to this part yet, so I'm going to skip on the rest of this. There's one 2-minute video here from a guy that you all should know. I'm sure many of you know who he is. This is Thomas Sowell. But everyone's talking about fascism. This is him explaining the appeal of fascism to politicians on the left. And this guy here, economics professor from Stanford, is a national treasure. He is awesome, and brilliant. Freaking brilliant. Just an amazing and accomplished individual. He's written many books. He's you're going to love him.
Talk about President Obama. Do you think he's a socialist?
Not technically, I suppose, because socialism usually means the government ownership of the means of production. The pattern he's following is much more like that of the fascists, where the government leaves the means of production in private hands and the politicians tell them what to do. And that's much more politically viable, because after the government forces the private industry to do something and it turns out disastrously, you can always haul the people from private industry up before congressional committees, denounce them on television and so forth, leaving out the fact that it was you who forced them to do what they did.
Unbelievable. Look, in like 30 seconds, he shows you, he displays brilliance that is like, who the hell is this guy? It's so insightful. It's so freaking insightful. Such a phenomenal point. First of all, it works much better in our system here, where we're very big believers in private ownership. Not to have socialism, but you have fascism, which is fascism and socialism. The state is what owns everything. In fascism, private actors own everything, but the state controls them. Well, instead of controlling them under the threat of a literal gun, they control them with financial incentives to basically say, if you do this, we're gonna give you all sorts of subsidies. If not, we'll tax you. So they use the power of the purse to turn fascistic on large corporations, and then if everything falls apart, you're like, well, these greedy companies, when you were the one who were directing their conduct all along. I mean, it's like in 30 seconds. You're just like, wow, this is a whole thing I never thought of before. And he just lays it out so succinctly. And it's so obviously true as far as what we've witnessed in America, probably for the last since Wickard v. Filburn, since the New Deal.
And this is the way you see, for example, the health care reforms that were passed.
Well, I was thinking actually about the financial reforms, and particularly the housing collapse. That the people who Barney Frank in the House, Senator Chris Dodd in the Senate, were the people who pushed for all kinds of mortgage lending standards to be reduced, making mortgage lending enormously more risky than it ever been before. And when all of that collapsed.
By the way, I don't want to terrify you, but they say like the housing bubble that we had in 2008 that led to the collapse, like the imbalances of cap to like money was like 1/7 what the imbalance is today. There's a lot of people who are speculating that we are on the cusp of a terrible, terrible housing collapse.
They then summon all the leaders of financial institutions up before their committees and spend hours denouncing them and so forth on nationwide television. I mean, they understand that the best defense is a good offense. And so this is great political theater. It has nothing to do with reality.
Well, what about the private sector, though? I mean, you know, it is true, isn't it, that there were lots of kind of risky bets that were being made with a lot of money, which was private money, certainly, but it would have a public effect. There are lots of kind of external effects.
There was some of that. More often, the risk was the lenders. One of the reasons lenders don't care whether you're really a good risk is they may sell the mortgage to you, and then they sell it. They make out the mortgage to you, then they sell it to Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, and the risk now is Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac's risk.
I wanted to ask a little bit more about how you see President Obama as a leader, because there were certainly very high hopes, and I think they were broadly shared about him as a leader. And yet, how do you think he's turned out?
I never had high hopes of him. I thought he was a snake oil salesman from the moment I saw him. Not for 10 seconds did I have high hopes for him. I recognized his charm, which the dude has natural oozing charm. And you can see there's such a stark contrast between his charm and Kamala's awkwardness. I mean, he has natural oozing charm. A very different kind of charm from Trump, who also oozes charm in a completely different way. But he's to me, he was just a great snake oil salesman. I never had that confidence that he actually had, because he never did anything before he was president. He was a senator for 10 minutes. He never did anything.
Terrible. But those hopes weren't based on anything he'd actually done.
Oh, look at that.
I mean, if you look at, I was telling my wife about the irony of Martin Luther King's thing that you should be judged by the content of your character rather than the color of your skin. If he'd been judged by the content of his character, he would never have made it through the primaries.
He's so good. He's so good. Such a brilliant man. Massive Thomas Sowell fan. All right. It's time for us to start talking about all the different legal issues that have been going on. All the legal issues. And there's many, many, many legal issues. Many, many legal issues. Let's check them out. First, in Nevada, a ballot printing error. Oh, wait. How do they say it? Nevada. Nevada. It's not Nevada. I know that. Nevada. Is that... Some of you Nevadans out there, just tell me, do I finally have it right? This Nevada, is it? Let me see. Nevada. I think I got it.
Realize something.
Yeah, let's get this a little louder. Ballot printing error in Nevada County, California, has caused scanning issues with 77,000 ballots, preventing the ballot counting machines from reaching from reading them properly.
Was wrong on Monday. The next day they diagnosed the problem, but the error is specific to vote by mail ballots. However, they aren't quite sure exactly how many of the 77,000
This is not one we need to worry about.
7,000 issued ballots are affected, but they do have a plan to rescan the ones that are.
That a lot of the public is very nervous about the process, about the results.
A vote by mail ballot error has some Nevada County residents concerned. County elections realized something was wrong on Monday. Their machines weren't properly reading all the ballots. They called the Secretary of State and their printing service and diagnosed the issue as an ink overspray on some of the barcodes.
Some of our ballots, if you look really closely and you use a magnifying glass, you will see that there is imperfections in the barcodes.
I want to show you what these ballots look like. If you take a look here, we're covering some private information, but the one on the left has already been processed. The problem is with these barcodes, and the one on the right needs to be rescanned. But as you can see, they look very similar.
We will go ahead and use a report to see, okay, which pages did not go through. We'll pull those out and we mark them as to be rescanned. So we have a different bin, we have a different colored piece of paper that sort of makes it really clear.
Election officials say the printer error will not affect the accuracy, but it will slow down their operations. They'll be working around the clock to certify the election results on time.
Certify them on time. California is historically takes like 3 weeks before they give you a result. They'll call the election 10 seconds after they close after they close their voting booths. Like literally they'll call it 9 p.m. Pacific time, whatever time they close, and it's like at 9:15 it's like, well, we've counted 2,000 ballots out of the 40 million people living in this state, and it seems like Kamala won. So that's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. But as far as getting the final numbers, it takes them weeks.
I trust the process.
And I remember because in 2022, and that's when they had a lot fewer people voting. It's like you waited forever on some of these House races to see determinations and when they're really close.
And for those who are more skeptical, anyone is allowed to observe the process in person or online through a live stream. Look, there's me in the counting room waving. I reached out to Runbeck Election Services, who supply the ballots, and they said in a statement, in part, we are coordinating directly with the Nevada County Elections Office and the Secretary of State to ensure that all affected ballots can be properly reviewed and counted. While this issue is rare, it can happen due to the required use of inkjet technology for the printing of such a large quantity of ballots.
We care very much about getting it right. Not just because it's a presidential election, but we care about every election making
sure. Very, very special people. Very, very special people. I mean, maybe they're doing a good job. I don't know. All right. So let's move over to Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania. A lot of developments in Pennsylvania for y'all. A lot of developments in Pennsylvania. So let's start up with Jack Posobiec's report here.
Bucks County Emergency Services.
This was going on yesterday.
Are shutting. What are you? This can't be real.
This was going on yesterday.
Real. James Blair, the political director.
Yesterday, meaning October 29th. This was going on Tuesday. Technically, it became Thursday, where I'm at 20 minutes ago. But yeah, this was what was happening on Tuesday.
Of the Trump 2024 campaign has just put out a video that says Bucks County Emergency Services are shutting down the lines in Doylestown right now at 2:30 p.m. And there's a video of it. This is blatant suppression. This is intimidation. It is completely illegal. This is countermanding the orders of, this is countermanding what we were told by Josh Shapiro. This is countermanding the guidance that was put out by the PA Department of State, because you got police officers right there in Bucks County. Guys, if we can get this video up, this is tremendous. Go to James Blair, and DC Drano has it up as well. I don't care what some guy said on a podcast. I don't care what some joke some guy is making. You got police officers up now in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, in Doylestown. I'm not going to hit the computer. I got a laptop right here. It's very nice. I'm not going to hit it.
Jack.
I'm going to practice good tactics.
Jack.
But when I see them
Chill,
stealing
Jack.
things, when I see them blocking people from voting, and when I see Josh Shapiro and these Democrats blatantly lie to you, they're going to say, oh, there was a glitch. Do not leave. If you are in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, if you are in Doylestown, do not leave. Say, I was told by the governor of Pennsylvania that I could be here until 5 o'clock, and that if I was allowed to be here, that I would be able to vote if I was in line by 5 o'clock. Put the video back up again. Put the video back up again. Show them what they're doing.
He ain't having
Look
it.
at this.
He ain't having
The
it.
line stops here.
Great.
It is 2:30 p.m. when this video was filmed. It is 3 p.m. right now in Pennsylvania. And you got emergency services from Bucks County saying the lines to absolutely not.
Like, what emergency do you have that you know you're shut down for the next 2 hours?
Absolutely not. We need to find out who put these guys up to this. We are going to find out immediately who put them up to this. Just keep running that video in a loop. That's your democracy, folks.
Great job, Jack Posobiec and many others calling this out. That led. Which thing do we have here? That led to a lawsuit this morning. That's right. Trump campaign ain't playing around. See, I told you, things will be different this time around. There's a lot of scrutiny, and you're much more able to scrutinize because the election is over a lengthy period of time. It's not just all sorts of things popping up all over the place. But you have a lengthy period of time, people will be able to get in there and vote. Like how much you can't just shut it down for you can shut it down for a couple of hours. That kind of nonsense. But it's like, if it's happening 4 days for the election, you can still get relief. So this is a lawsuit filed this morning.
We have breaking news from the Trump campaign involving a lawsuit against Bucks County, Pennsylvania. Let's go back to NBC's Dasha Burns. Dasha, what do we know about this?
All right, so we just received an email from the Trump-Vance campaign saying that they have filed a lawsuit over voter suppression in Pennsylvania. The press release states that this is a direct violation of Pennsylvania's right to cast their ballot. All voters have a right to stay in line, claiming that Bucks County, Pennsylvania has been turning away voters. Now, we're looking into all of these claims, Jose, but as I said to you earlier, Pennsylvania has been a specific focus for the Trump campaign when it comes to these claims of voter suppression. The former president posting earlier claiming that there's fraud going on, widespread fraud in Pennsylvania, which we have not seen evidence of. And Bucks County in particular, Jose, is a pretty critical county. It's one of the collar counties around Philadelphia, the suburban counties where both the Trump campaign and the Harris campaign really need to run up their numbers. It could be those counties surrounding Philadelphia that could be the tipping point in this election. So the fact that they are focused in on Bucks in particular is significant, Jose.
Okay. All right. So that's the Trump campaign this morning saying, no, we ain't having it. We ain't having it. And hours later, Diligent Denizen, my friend Diligent Denizen, reporting.
What's up, you guys? Diligent Denizen here at the Doylestown Courthouse here in Bucks County, where Trump has just won his lawsuit.
That easy. There you go. Emergency injunctive relief granted.
Ending quote-unquote early voting until this Friday at 5 p.m. If you were disenfranchised from your vote in Bucks County, you can come to Doylestown by 5 p.m. each business day this week and request an in-person, on-demand, mail-in ballot. You can come vote early. Let's go. What's up, you guys?
There you go. Like I told you. Win, 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 win. Win, 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 win. More wins. We need more wins. Staying in Pennsylvania for the moment. MAGA ain't having it. The garbage ain't having it. The garbage ain't having it. This mayor, what's this guy's name? Democrat Mayor Matt Turk tries to stop a Trump rally in Allentown, Pennsylvania. He doesn't end up looking too good here. I don't know who this young man is. Probably part of the Young Republicans or something like that. But this is a fierce young man. Matt Turk is about to come up against a fierce young man.
You said it 3 times. And then all of a sudden, you let the traffic come through, and I'm trying to put out bike ride while dodging cars at the same time. Don't. You think I'm going to fucking take it off now?
I don't care that you're a freaking mayor. I don't care who you are.
I expect you to put yourself in danger.
Oh, yeah? Well, then we got cars coming in from all 4 intersections while I'm in the middle of it. Oh, really? Yes. You put out a press statement yesterday. The city did, saying that this entire block was closed on Apple Maps. You know what it shows? It shows this entire intersection closed. Look it up. You think I'm going to remove the barricades now? Yeah, you're out of your fucking mind. Don't ever pull that shit on me again. The entire police force was confused. Yeah, go ahead and call your chief, please. You're going to open it up while the trucks are right there, too. Really? You got food trucks right there. This is nuts. How is this in the way of voting? So if
He's
someone
not
lives
letting go.
on that block right there,
He ain't
they
letting
can't
go.
walk around to the other side. Why don't you walk it with me? Let's walk. Oh, really? Am I being a problem? I'm not the one who lied to you the entire time. You.
He's in his face. He in his grill. Keeping a respectful distance, but in his grill.
Tried to pull some fake shit on the permits. Oh, really? You're laughing? You told us Saturday was fine. And then you say we can't have our porta potties there? Really? Okay, go ahead and fucking call him. You're saying you're trying to pull that permit shit on us? You told us we could do that. Oh, really? You got to pull a permit now? Oh, okay, yeah, right. Come on now. Oh, really? Election is 8 days away. You said we could close up this entire intersection. And then the day of, you show up in a fresh suit with all your cameras, trying to show like you're big and strong that you can shut this down. Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah? Oh, okay, why don't we walk it? Why don't we walk it right now? Let's go and walk it.
Let's go. Let's go.
What are they, Arnold
You saying people can't?
Schwarzenegger? They don't
People
do
can't
anything.
walk around?
They walk on the outside of the fence.
They can't walk around? Oh, MAGA ain't having it. MAGA ain't having it. Removing the current administration will remove waste in more ways than one, if you know what I mean. Yeah, there's a lot of waste at the top there. A lot of waste at the top. Hey, Joe, been a minute since I sent a super chat, but finally, in no uncertain terms, champions of the world, LA Dodgers. 1 down, 1 to go. Let's go, MAGA. We got this. Fight, fight, fight. You see? All right. You know, Bogey, we go back a long ways. A long ways. We go back a long ways. You're right. It's been a minute. It's been a minute. You're one of the first 1,000 people that found me, for sure. For sure. Okay? There's been 100,000 people who have come in through this door since you found me. Been watching me stream here for years. For years. I mean, seriously. Do you not recognize? I'm just going to ask you this. Do you not recognize that part of the appeal of this show, part of a necessary element to this show, is that I need to stay at a certain focus level energy. If I don't have that focus level energy, the whole show is just like, people would just be like, what am I watching? Why am I here? This is like sticking thumbtacks in my. No, this is painful. I don't want to sit there watching that. No, if I'm flat, if I'm dead, if I'm just sort of like, so no, there's no energy. There's no nothing. There's just bleh. That's so why would you do this? Why would you do this? Everyone knows I'm a Yankee fan. Why would you do this? He's sitting here trolling me. Oh, look at that. Oh, look, Dodgers came back. Oh, wow, we're so great. Aren't we so happy? Oh, everything's great. Why? You couldn't let me actually just savor it later on. have that heartbreak in my own private time when I don't need to maintain these high freaking levels. It's not easy to maintain. You think it's easy to maintain? Like just come in here and just for like 2.5 hours, just be like parking your. No, it's not. It's not. Look, is this the hardest job in the world? Hell no. No, this is a phenomenal job. I'm not complaining at all. Phenomenal job. I'm very, very blessed individual. Very, very blessed. I thank God for my blessings every single day. Stuff like this doesn't help. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. I get you're excited. I get it. I understand. Every team has their fans. I get it. But seriously, come on. Bastards. Dan, you a funny of the day? Thank you. I could use a funny right now. I could use a funny. God, I really need a funny now. Let me see what you sent me. What did you send me? Oh, this looks good. Not bad. Not bad. A little bit of palate cleanser there. Thank you. Thank you kindly. Can I get back to my job now? All right. Seriously. We're just not talking about it. And I got the most amazing cringe for you coming up shortly. So the one win, I guess you could say we didn't have today, which I think frankly probably will turn into a win before all is said and done. But the one win that the left is probably very excited about is I shared with you all a couple days ago a lawsuit that was filed by Soros-funded DA District Attorney Larry Krasner against America PAC and Elon Musk. This lawsuit, which I gave an overview of, is alleging that Elon Musk's $1 million giveaway that he gives out to random people who sign up to the America PAC and commit to support the First and Second Amendments, that Soros-funded District Attorney Larry Krasner claims this is a violation of Pennsylvania lottery law. And he wants it shut down. Apparently very concerned about the impact this could have on the election. So I'm not going to get into the whole legal back and forth on this, but I will tell you that today the judge issued this order saying, and now on this 30th day of October 2024, upon consideration of plaintiff's emergency petition for preliminary injunctive relief and emergency motion for extraordinary relief and expedited hearing of plaintiff Commonwealth of Pennsylvania acting by and through Philadelphia Soros-funded District Attorney Larry Krasner, it is hereby ordered and decreed that a rule is entered upon all parties to show cause why the relief requested should not be granted. This is standard language when someone's looking for injunctive relief, that they would say, this is the order telling you when to come in. Let me explain to you. And then it says, rule returnable on Thursday, October 31st at 10 o'clock in the morning in courtroom 696, City Hall, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Further order, all parties must be present at the time of the hearing. Further order that prior to the hearing, plaintiff shall serve this rule, the emergency petition, and all papers in accordance with the applicable provisions of the Pennsylvania Rules of Civil Procedure. Plaintiff shall file proof of service with the court or present proof of service at the time of the hearing. Okay. What does this mean? What does all of this mean? Does this mean Larry Krasner won? No. What this means, and obviously not admitted to practice law in the state of Pennsylvania, but this is sufficiently parallel to the way things operate in civil court in New York that I can interpret this for you with a 98% high confidence level that what I'm giving you is accurate legal breakdown as to what this says. I'm saying this with 98% confidence. The way it works in New York, and certainly and very likely in every jurisdiction in this country, is that when you're seeking injunctive relief, what happens is you file your papers. You file your complaint and your application for injunctive relief. Injunctive relief, in case you're unfamiliar with that term, which many of you may be, just means I want the court to do something right now, to issue an order right now that's going to go into effect right now. I know there's a whole litigation process that may happen, but I want something to happen right now because there's a dire, immediate situation. And while court and trials and stuff like that could take months, years, this problem is pressing, urgent. I need a situation right now. Frequently, you'll be seeking injunctive relief, which will come in there in the form of the day that I bring my papers in, give me the relief right here and now. The problem with that from a court judicial perspective is we recognize that when the plaintiff is coming in and seeking injunctive relief, that the court is only hearing one side of the story, and that side of the story is going to be tilted as heavily as is feasible for the party who's presenting the story. They're trying to present why they should get the relief they want. And if you don't hear from the other side, if you don't get their side of the story, you're very often going to be misled by facts of omission or by incidents of misleading statements of omission, commission, but some sort of misleading statements which could be pivotal in reaching a decision. So what they will frequently do is they will sign off and say, I want everyone in here. It's a dire situation. They say it's a real emergency thing, which obviously, look, the election is coming up in a few days. They don't want to have this impact, assuming it's an illegal impact that Musk is engaging in here, which the court has to worry. Maybe it is something illegal that he's doing. Maybe it is that he's breaking the law and it can have an impact on the election. So that's why he's saying you have to come in quickly. And he sets down, even though he's signing on the 30th, he had to come in the next day, October 31st. Not surprising that the judge is doing this. Also not surprising, he's saying, I want all sides here. Why would he want all sides here? Because I don't just want to hear from the plaintiff. I want to hear the defendant's perspective on the law as to what they're almost certainly going to come in here telling me we're not breaking any laws. So I want to hear their legal arguments and what facts they have on their side to support a basis of legal arguments in their favor to say that the relief that the plaintiff wants should not be granted, should be denied. So this is procedurally how things unfold, I would imagine, in every jurisdiction in the country. So everything you're seeing here is very logical, that there's a request for an immediate return that's going to come very quickly, like tomorrow. And the second, so the first paragraph is just saying this is what was brought in here to me. Next paragraph, rule returnable on Thursday, is saying this is when you're going to come in here, when and where you're coming. The next paragraph is saying it's further ordered that all parties must be present at the time of the hearing. This is something I see a lot of people mistakenly claiming that this means Elon Musk himself must be there. I do not read it this way. And I'm going to explain to you that this part I'm saying to you with 70 to 80% confidence. And I'll explain to you why I have that 70 to 80 rather than 98, but not down at 20% confidence. This is common language that we would see here in New York. I don't know how they work it in Pennsylvania, but in New York, they would frequently write it, all parties must be present. That does not mean the individual themselves. It means either they or their attorney must be present. Some representative of theirs must be present. If they want the individual themselves to appear, at least in New York, and I assume in Pennsylvania and Philadelphia as well, they would say that all parties must be personally present at the time of the hearing. They would throw in the word present or present personally. They were throwing the word personally to make it clear to the defendant who's being served these papers, receiving these papers, that they actually have to physically be there themselves rather than sending counsel in their stead. So when it doesn't say personally, in New York, I would certainly interpret this as, no, you don't have to be there. I can go without you. If it said personally, then I would say, oh yeah, you better get your butt in here. So the fact that personally is not written in there is a reason that I don't think Elon has to be there himself. And furthermore, if you think about it logically, there's no legal reason that the court would need to hear from Elon's own mouth rather than hearing from his mouthpiece in the form of his counsel. So seeing as how there's no real benefit here, it's not like this is a criminal thing that you got to come answer these criminal charges and we want to know where you are. We need to know, we need to know what's happening here, and we need to have you physically present so we can arrest you and throw you in prison, throw you in a jail cell. No, this is a civil matter, which is ultimately about dollars and cents and maybe restricting how you operate going forward. Clearly, if the injunction would be granted. But that's something that there's no logical legal reason I can think of that you would need the individual themselves rather than their counsel. All the more so when the individual themselves is freaking Elon Musk. Because judges are human. They're not stupid. They understand that if I sign an order saying Elon Musk has to be in my courtroom, when for all I know, Elon Musk is in freaking South Africa right now. I don't know where the hell he is. We know he's running around the country to different rallies. I'm going to tell him he's got to come into my courtroom. Why? What's the justification for me saying he has to be here in my face rather than his attorney? What's the legal reason I would need that? Rather than me telling his attorney, shut it down. And if he doesn't shut it down, well, that then you still would hold Elon liable. But whoever his representative coming in before the court, that's the person who would basically be the agent, the go-between between Elon and the court. And it would be an officer of the court because lawyers are an officer of the court. So for all these reasons, I do not think Elon's going to be there tomorrow. I don't think the judge is expecting him there tomorrow. I don't think anyone's expecting him there tomorrow except folks on the internet who are like, oh my, Elon has to be in Philadelphia, otherwise he might go to jail. I saw someone write that. I'm like, are you out of your freaking mind? The other thing, the last paragraph here is saying you have to serve him because for all we know, you do have to effect personal service on him. And for all we know, they didn't take care of that yet. So you sort of have to let him know. And when usually in New York, we'd be like, you have to serve by tomorrow, and then he has to be in here the next day. Now you have to serve him in theory 10 minutes before you show up here. Like, how's he supposed to get there? So it's a little weird that part was left out of this order, but it just sort of implies it's sort of in accordance to the applicable provisions. I'm unfamiliar with the Pennsylvania provisions on that, but so it says the Elon Musk here in Philadelphia over the potentially illegal $1 million giveaway of voters has been moved up tomorrow, and the judge says all parties must be present. Musk is a named defendant in that case, so that includes him. To determine if he'll actually be there. This is what Marshall Cohen is reporting, CNN reporter. I cover major legal cases. I don't know if you're a lawyer, Marshall Cohen, but the chances that Elon himself will personally be there seems somewhere between fat chance and very slim. So that's my legal take on this. And I'll certainly follow up on this tomorrow with what is the outcome of that and whether the judge grants the injunction or not. Which I think Larry Krasner has a dubious claim on it, but if he knows this judge well, chances go up dramatically. So all right. So that was what I had in Pennsylvania. Did I cover everything I had in Pennsylvania so far? I think that covers it. Don't worry, I got 2 more states to go at least. I got 2 more states I want to talk about. I do. 2 more states. Okay. Let me see where I'm at here on this thing. Imagine watching Stickball cringe. 6-month holiday and your Yankees retake the field. They can make the playoffs again. Dodgers may have to trade for salary. Where will they be? Well, frankly, without Juan Soto, I'm not sure where the Yankees are going to be next year. Juan Soto is a friggin' beast. That dude's a beast. And they say the chances of the Yankees re-signing him are about as likely as Elon being in Philadelphia tomorrow. Now, it is possible that Elon be like, no, I want to go there. That's possible. That's possible. And you're like, you know what? I'm going to go in there. I want a judge to tell me to my face that what I'm doing here is illegal. Because he is Elon Musk. So that could happen. I'm simply saying, I certainly don't think he has to be there. He may choose to be there, but I don't think he has to be there. That's my take. All right. Moving on. What's the difference between injunctive relief and an affidavit? Okay. I'll explain this to you, and you'll see that those are not really related things at all. When you are seeking injunctive relief, this is saying, I want the court to issue an order that prevents the defendant from doing something or forces the defendant to do something in some cases, but in most cases, preventing them from doing something. In the majority of cases, it's much harder to get a judge to sign off on an injunctive order that forces them to act rather than prohibiting them from engaging in certain conduct. Okay. You'll have a much easier time convincing a judge to say, stop them, rather than saying, make them do something. If that makes sense. Okay. Much as like the government can stop you from speaking in certain very limited instances, but they can never compel you to speak. Right? Okay. Now, when you are seeking injunctive relief, you file a motion. Normally, you would file, frankly, in most cases, you file a complaint, which is going to lay out the basic parameters as to what the issues are. And then you tend to attach to it, separate from that complaint, a motion. The motion is basically the basis of the legal basis for the relief that you're seeking. And you also need to attest to what facts have happened that give context as to why you need this relief. When you are, how do you present those facts to the judge? Well, what you do is you fill out an affidavit. An affidavit, which when signed by an individual who's not an attorney, is called an affidavit. And it's got to be sworn to and notarized that it's yours. This is the person who signed it. This is basically like it's written testimony, an affidavit. It's written testimony that's considered as if you got up on the stand and said this to the court, said these words to the court. And you're swearing that this is factually what's happened. And sometimes you'll be like, upon information and belief, meaning like, I don't know that this is what happened. This is what I suspect happened. And if it's something you don't actually know that happened, you're supposed to say upon information and belief, which tells the court, this is what I think is the case, but I haven't seen it myself. I don't know it. In this particular motion, for example, we see that Larry Krasner says upon information and belief that the winners of the lottery were not randomly selected. And then he explains why he has that belief. He says, because they picked two winners who happened to be at the rally. How would they happen to be at the right rally unless they were not completely random, but there was some sort of rigging of how they were chosen. Now, Elon might come back and say, yeah, we did that. It was a random thing. We did the random drawing 24 hours earlier and notified them that we want and shipped them in to show up at the rally. So this way we can give them a check in person. And those would be facts that Larry Krasner wouldn't know about. So Larry Krasner is basically saying, like, these are facts I know about. I see on his website, it says this. Here's evidence of that. And they might attach to it exhibits, which are designed to bolster and strengthen the affirmation or affidavit. It's called an affidavit when at least in New York, the nomenclature could differ from one jurisdiction to another, but meaning that it's a matter of semantics, just like what label do we put on something. So in New York, we'll call something sworn to by a non-lawyer an affidavit. If it's sworn to by a lawyer, we'll call it an affirmation. So but they're effectively the same thing, an affidavit or an affirmation. And when it comes to federal court, they'll frequently call it a declaration. These are all the same thing. Declaration, affidavit, affirmation. These are all the same thing. It just depends on where you are, and that's just a matter of what label the court gives to these things and who's signing it. Okay. But the point is, the affidavit is your evidence, and the evidence is sworn testimony that's in writing. That's the affidavit. The affidavit provides the justification if there's enough facts laid out there, and the law that exists in that jurisdiction says in that type of circumstance, this is what the court's supposed to do. And that's what you're going to spell out often in the affirmation. Sometimes you'll put in a memo of law also. Frequently, if you have the time, certainly it's better form to put in a memo of law. Sometimes people will sort of bake the law into the affirmation or affidavit. Not affidavit, you'll see it more in affirmation because that's being signed by a lawyer. So you'll see more often in affirmation, they'll sort of say, and, I know this, and the law says, this statute says X, Y, Z. So you sort of will bake it in. It's considered a little more professional, and it certainly takes more time to actually create a separate memo of law and say, in the memo of law, you'd be like, these are the facts that are sworn to in the affidavit, and the law says that in that type of circumstance, this law, this statute says this, or this case tells us that. And you'll use that, and that's your package that you give to the court. And then you say, now because of these, and you might have more than one affidavit. You can have multiple affidavits. You can have this person saw events on day 2 and 3, and another person saw events in a different location on days 1 and 7. You know what I'm saying? You can have multiple affidavits, and they can each have their own separate exhibits to sort of support it. But the affidavit is basically written, sworn testimony that's designed to motivate the court that there's enough basis here for the court to act and issue an order of injunctive relief. And the injunctive relief would be an order from the court saying, hey, defendant, you're not allowed to do this. Or, hey, defendant, you must do that. So that's how that breaks down. Government compels me to speak every year. I file my taxes. Too true. Too true. All right. Moving on from Pennsylvania to the Buckeye State. Its neighbor, the Buckeye State. Working our way westward here. So, as reported here, Ohio's Secretary of State is suing the Biden-Harris administration because the Secretary of State for Ohio is that the Biden-Harris is not giving him access to a federal database that states have a right to use to verify citizenship. They're like, we don't know who's a citizen here, who's not, because you haven't given us access to federal database to know that this is an illegal person who came in here. Add this to the list of ways Democrats are trying to steal the election. Let's check out this story here.
Frank LaRose today about the election-related lawsuit he filed against the Biden administration.
LaRose claims the Department of Homeland Security failed to give Ohio access to federal citizenship verification records that are needed to prevent those non-citizens from voting. Let's get to 10 TV political reporter Doug Petcash, who interviewed LaRose about why he is pushing this effort.
Yeah, that's right, Angela and Yolanda. Secretary LaRose says the state can use the Federal Systematic Alien Verification and Entitlements, or SAVE, database to verify citizenship, but says the Biden administration is denying Ohio access to 3 other federal databases.
Why?
The federal government is required to make this data available, and I believe we'll win this case and be able to access that citizenship data that we need to verify that only American citizens are voting.
This comes as LaRose works.
It's unbelievable. They're so shady. This Kamala Harris is so, and Biden, they're so damn shady.
To remove non-citizens from the voter rolls and have some prosecuted for election fraud. In August, he referred potential evidence to the Attorney General's office that 597 people who were not U.S. citizens were registered to vote in Ohio. LaRose says 138 of those appear to have voted in past elections. Then last week, Attorney General Dave Yost announced indictments of 6 people who were accused of voting in more than one election. Ohio has more than 8 million registered voters. Now, with the lawsuit against the Biden administration, I asked LaRose why he's putting so much effort into this when the possible fraud cases represent such a small percentage.
Because you never know. That's why. Because you never know. And because it's their job to get it right.
600 is a small number, but every year we have elections that come down to a single vote. And so it's our duty to make sure that,
especially when you're talking about, you can't just look at the federal elections. You can't just look at this level. It's also with respect to their state elections. Some local commissioner or whatever, some marshal winning by 3 votes. And it could be 3 illegal. It could be 5 illegal votes.
that we don't allow people that are not eligible to vote to vote. That's not something I'm going to apologize for. It's our responsibility.
Ohio poll workers are also checking IDs for citizenship status this election. If the back of the ID.
Very good. Very good. Good for you, Ohio. Good for you, Ohio. You wonder why it is that Ohio ended up, 2 election cycles ago, back in 2016, Ohio was this big swing state. Big swing state. You want to know something? They run their elections like this is going to be done right. And somehow it turns very red. Turns very red.
ID says non-citizen or non-renewable. They, of course, will not be allowed.
Why is it that it's only that the ones that go blue are in the shady states? Why would that be? I don't understand. Why would that be? But Ohio's like, no, we're not tolerating 600, even though it's a relatively small percentage of our overall population. I don't care. We're getting it right.
Allowed to vote.
Good for you. Good for you, friggin' Ohio. Good for you. Good job. All right. And the last state we're going to address is Tim Walz's home state of Minnesota. So I covered this briefly yesterday. It was shared with me by someone. I'm going to go in a little more detail on it today. There's a couple of stories out of Minnesota related to its elections. The first one, this is what we covered yesterday. But this is a little more detail I'm going to give you. A huge win for election integrity, a major blow for Democrats. Minnesota Supreme Court has ordered the largest county to stop violating the law and to instead appoint Republican election judges to the ballot board. Over the last 14 days, Democrats fought against complying with the law. The county received over 250,000 ballots under an invalid board. They were trying to cheat, but Minnesota Republicans stopped them. Now they will have to win in a free and fair election. A huge shout out to the attorneys Ryan Wilson from Minnesota, James Dickey, and Harry Nishka for holding these officials accountable. Yes, Minnesota is in play for Republicans. Amen. And this is the statement that we read yesterday, which I'm not going to reread now. But it is a nice win. So like I said, win, 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 win. Win, 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 win. But this last story here is not. After saying all that, I will tell you, this last story.
We have breaking news from the Trump camp.
Not that. Sorry. Where are you? Why is that? Where are you? Because in Minnesota, you also have Ilhan Omar. Here it is, pay-to-vote ballot fraud operation in Minnesota run by a domestic terrorist currently serving in U.S. Congress, Ilhan Omar, and financed by Palestinian terrorist Azim Sabri. Ilhan Omar, is the one who came up with this pay-to-vote. So the people that work for Ilhan Omar are actually counting the ballots, counting the vote, and they become a manager in the precinct too. Let's check out this report here. Project Veritas style report. Veritas tips.
Project Veritas has received an explosive piece of tape. The tape you're about to see shows a man buying a registration form for an absentee ballot from a voter, giving him, quote, pocket money, unquote, of $200 and expecting to collect his ballot when the voter receives it.
But that's illegal. Why? We don't care illegal. أنا بالعقل وانا how much are we? Good one.
She's the one who came up with all this.
So she did it. She
Yeah.
started this whole thing with the pay to vote.
Yeah.
So the people that work for Ilhan are actually counting the ballots, counting the vote.
And they
We don't know who this is. This former Ilhan Omar co-worker. They would obviously need to testify. But if this is true, this woman needs to go to jail. I don't know that it's true. I don't know. I don't know that it's false. You know as much as I do.
become a manager in the prison too.
They walk with you to the booth and then they vote, oh, vote this guy, vote this guy, vote this guy. Vote even if you speak English.
haddana al-shabaab ay ii saareen al-shabaab kuna iga rabaa.
The reason she's fighting for Palestine is because of this guy. So it's all about money and power, and they want her to defend Israel.
So there you go. There you go. What's going to happen about this? I can't tell you. I don't know. But her day's coming. I don't know if it's in this life or the next, but her day is definitely coming. That much I know. There was one more story I wanted to break for you. Oh, a couple more things. Sorry. There's a few more things. You would think that this clown idiot would learn. You would think she would learn that she's the butt of a joke, butt of countless jokes at this point. You would think she would learn. And they'd be like, I mean, she knows Trump is even mocking her. Saturday Night Live mocked her for saying what you're about to see her say yet again.
My response is that the first statement from Joe Biden.
The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
Sorry about that.
Is the one that he truly believes. He does not think that people who disagree with him or his party, who support President Trump, are Americans. He thinks that they're garbage. That's a fact. And the reason what I go back to is 4 years ago, around this same time, it was Joe Biden that went on the Breakfast Club, and he famously said,
if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
There it is.
That if you couldn't vote for him.
I don't know why that popped up. It was in a whole different window. That was painful. Where was we? Here we are. Damn, that was annoying. I don't know why computer keeps doing that. It's become a consistent problem of late. All right. So despite being mocked by Trump and SNL, here is our current vice president.
What's your message to Michigan voters in terms of the economy? We have auto workers who are being laid off and those who fear that they might be laid off. The average person can't afford groceries or their rent. And recent polls in Michigan show that Michigan voters believe that Donald Trump would do a better job with handling the economy and bringing jobs back. What do you say to that?
What's she gonna say? Say the line. Say the line. Say the line, Kamala. Say the line. Say it. Say it.
Well, let's start with this. I come from the middle class, and I'll never forget where I come.
Yeah. Oh, God. Say the line. Say it, you stupid, vapid, empty vessel.
My mother worked very hard. She, by the time I was a teenager, was able to save up for our first home. And I understand.
What's your message to Michigan?
Oh, God. How does she know? The fact, this is what I want to point out to you. The fact that she can see how poorly something is doing and still stick to it is why she's a terrible leader. She's a terrible potential leader. Because if you're a good leader, you recognize that the definition of insanity is seeing something that doesn't work and expecting a different result. This is, you have to have enough originality that you'd be like, this isn't working. This isn't working. But she just keeps going back to it. Keeps going back to it. You think when her policies suck, why do you think they keep coming back with the same stupid things over and over again? How many times have we seen? How many times have we seen this? They have one freaking playbook on Donald Trump. They have one freaking, oh, let's introduce this new person who's going to tell you that Trump is a racist, misogynist, jerk based on some event that happened from 30 years ago. Like how many of those folks are you gonna, something that happened before milk was invented? Like how many times they're gonna just like dust that sucker off? Because they did it again today. They did it again today with some new chick from 1993 saying Trump tried kissing me, did all these terrible things to me. Did I tell you what? No, I'm telling you now. You need to know now. Oh my God, how do they not learn? How do they not learn? I don't understand it. I don't understand it. So, that was one thing I wanted to share with you all. The other thing was there was this guy who he's speaking in Spanish. I was going to make a whole video out of this, share this in a standalone video.
Mi gente, normalmente yo no soy una persona de contestar este tipo de cosas en las cámaras.
I don't remember this guy's name. Why am I drawing a blank on his name? I'm sure some of you know his name. What's his name? The guy who like backed out. He's a month ago he was standing next to Trump, and now all of a sudden he's saying I can't support him anymore. Let me see if I have this here. Hold on a second. Did I get rid of it? Or do I still have the translation? Still have the translation? I think I still have the translation. I do. Do it this way. This is the best way to do it. Do it this way. What's his name? You guys know his name. Someone here. Nicky Jam. Thank you. Thank you, Joey V. Thank you, Joe V. So Joe V retracted his statement. This is in Spanish. I'll give you the English that you can read alongside it. The translation of what he's saying.
Mi gente, normalmente yo no soy una persona de contestar.
Normally, I'm not just the type of person to answer these kinds of questions from camera. Well, on my social media, I mean.
La razón por la cual yo apoyé a Donald Trump era porque yo pensé que era lo mejor para la economía en los Estados Unidos.
So I thought he was the best for the economy in the United States.
Vivimos muchos latinos.
Where a lot of Latinos live.
Muchos inmigrantes que están sufriendo
a
por la
lot of
economía.
Latinos,
Y él siendo
including
negociante
myself,
pensé
a lot
que
of
era
immigrants
el mejor movimiento.
who are suffering because of the economy.
Nunca en mi vida pensé
and him being a
que un mes
businessman,
después iba a venir un comediante a
I thought he was the
criticar a mi
best
país
movement.
y hablar mal de mi país. Y
I
por
never
ende,
thought in my life that
renuncio
a month
cualquier
later,
apoyo
a
a
comedian
Donald Trump
was going
y
to
me echo a
come
los lados a
to
cualquier
criticize my
situación política.
country and to speak
Puerto Rico
badly
se
of my
respeta,
country.
Nicky Jam.
And therefore, I renounce my support of Donald Trump and throw myself aside from political situation. Puerto Rico is respected. So there you go. The left was very, very excited by this. Very, very excited by this. Because this is obviously, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. Oh, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. All right. Is it a big deal, though? Is it? Is it really because of a joke that a comedian made? Is that really why he did it? It could be. I don't know. I don't know the guy's freaking name until someone wrote in the chat here. It's Nicky Jam. But then you have this.
I was going to keep this off the internet. But I guess I changed my mind because
You know what? I actually downloaded this. Let me do it this way.
I was going to keep this off the internet, but I guess I changed my mind because after seeing two other creators.
I know you can't hear her. I can't hear her either. Where's my volume?
The same experience. I just feel like you guys deserve to know. Let me first start off with saying I do not care who you vote for. I despise posting anything political because you just can't do it anymore without people coming for you.
All right. I really don't care about the first minute what she's talking about here. We'll try to turn it up this way.
After seeing two other creators that I follow, you just can't do it anymore without people coming for you. People don't respect that everyone has different opinions, and it just sucks. But I don't care who you vote for. I love you regardless, and I feel like I don't have the right to tell you how you should vote or what you should believe in. I attended the Donald Trump rally a couple days ago in Greensboro, North Carolina, and I went live at it. And it's just so coincidental that the very next day,
after she went live from a Trump rally,
I get an email, and it is a management company that is looking for influencers to attend the Kamala Harris rally a couple days before the election. They're looking for people who can essentially say that they supported the other side and they've switched. Looking for you to post content, a certain amount of videos on TikTok, and some vlog-like stories on the other platform. They're paying all travel expenses for you and a friend and a flat rate fee. And morally, I can never go and support someone that I, myself, cannot stand behind. For shits and giggles, my husband was like, just put a number out there that you know they would never accept. Y'all, I straight up replied and I said, for this type of collaboration, and I can put the email at the end of this video. I said, for this type of collaboration, it would require for all my expenses to be paid for travel for me and a friend, obviously, food, hotel, travel, plus $50,000. And it was obviously a joke because who the hell would pay me $50,000 to attend a rally? But I was sadly mistaken when I got a response. It said, that sounds great. I'm sorry. Y'all do know that part of North Carolina just got washed away and they have no homes? And not to mention, people are dying in other places, and you're going to pay me $50,000 to attend a rally for you and promote you on TikTok? My blood was boiling. And I know some of y'all are going to say, you're crazy. You should have done it. You should have done it. You should have done it. $50,000 is a lot of money to me. Don't get me wrong. But it just doesn't sit right with me. And I don't like it. I'm no longer going to keep quiet about how I feel and what I believe.
Unbelievable.
And if that causes some of you to dislike me and unfollow me, then I'm so sorry. I respect you and I love you anyways. The amount of people that I follow that despise Donald Trump, but guess what? I just keep scrolling. Because guess what? I still love their content. And I respect you because you're allowed to feel how you want to feel. Some people aren't that mature. And that's okay. Just had to tell you guys that because all of these celebrities and people that you see at these rallies.
You can't hear anything. She's saying that after she attended a Trump rally, I don't know how you didn't hear. Everyone else seems to hear, but maybe it's just it's not coming through well to you. What she is saying is that after she attended a Trump rally, they said they wanted her to come. She got an email from Harris' team saying, "We'd like you. We want people to switch, and we want to collaborate with you." And she said she gave them terms that she thought were insane, of saying you're going to have to pay for me and a friend to come and our food, lodging, travel expense, everything like that, plus give me $50,000. And she assumed that they'd be like, go jump in a lake. And they were like, oh, that sounds good. That sounds good. We're fine with that. And she's astonished that they would pay $50,000 just to have her show up at some stupid rally. But that she's coming forward and telling the world about this.
Secretly voting for the other side, but to your face. That's all I'm gonna say. And
she's obviously not the only content creator they're doing this to. So it makes you wonder when you see a Nicky Jam change sides, like how much money might he have been paid? I doubt he would have done it for 50. He might have asked for 100. He might have asked for 200. I don't know what he asked for. At a certain point, most people have a price.
Red or blue, or you're indecisive, you need to go out and vote. I don't care what side you're on, but this election is important and you need to go out and vote.
No.
And if you don't go out and vote because you just don't know what to do, then you're essentially giving the vote to the other side that you don't agree with the most. I tell all of my friends, choose your shitty. Because at the end of the day, we may have two shitty candidates. It doesn't matter. Choose your shitty. Oh yeah, I almost forgot.
So what it says is she blocked out the names, but what it says here, you might not be able to see. I'll make it a little bigger so you might have a better chance of seeing it. Hello, we got an inquiry from a company urgently looking for creators for a paid campaign to support Kamala Harris in swing states, and we just couldn't get past your TikTok profile. Results, offline events, Las Vegas, November 1st to 4th. Targeting high vibe hotties, posting before election day. Tasks, 3 videos be posted to Instagram, Reels, and TikTok. Details, any travel expenses to Ann Arbor will be covered. Authors must be available from 1400 from Friday to Sunday evening. They also provide a budget for content with the goal of reaching approximately 500,000 views per weekend. If you're interested, I would like to hear your price proposal. As the project is time sensitive and there's not much information available, I would like to hear back as soon as possible. If you're not interested in participating, kindly let me know as well. I hope to hear from you shortly, and thank you in advance for your response. Have a good day. And supposedly she asked for $50,000 and they said yes. So now you tell me, when you see this guy Nicky Jam come along here and say things like, I can't support Trump anymore after the whole Puerto Rico thing. Did that set him off? Maybe. But if it really did set him off, I'm going to say this. If it really set him off and he didn't demand $100,000 from Kamala Harris for making that video, he's an idiot. Because why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? I feel like I'm missing 1 or 2 videos that I wanted to share with y'all. Nope, not that. Got that. Maybe I got them all. Oh, yeah. Now we get to the funny. First thing is, this is what I'm laughing at. I don't know what happened to this guy. I don't know what happened. This is the cringiest attempt at comedy I can remember seeing. This is such cringe from a person who a lot of people consider comedic legend. I couldn't even believe what I was seeing as to how cringe and stupid and ridiculous this was. I know the guy on the left. I don't even know the guy on the right. Maybe some of you know the guy on the right. Loud white men for Kamala, whatever. Do you guys know who the guy on the right is? Did you mention the SCOTUS ruling the Virginia non-citizen voter roll purges? Is that ruling applicable to other states as well? Should have been 9-0. Did I mention that? I meant to mention it. Maybe I didn't. Yeah, we won on the Virginia thing. That was a big thing. Oh my God, I think I didn't. I'm glad you reminded me of this. All right, we'll come back to Will Ferrell and his stupidity. None of you know this guy. None of you know him. Dave Mustaine, is that right? Dave Mustaine? Where is it? Yeah. This actually was a big deal. Virginia, this was the first win. This is what actually inspired me. I can't believe I forgot this. I'm so old. Maybe you know what it is? It's because Bogey sent me that thing about the Dodgers. I'm just not in the right frame of mind. Now I'm not in the right frame of mind. I'm all in the wrong frame of mind. Nah, I'm just kidding. It's not you, Bogey. It's totally on me. But yes, Virginia, the state of Virginia was looking to purge 1,600 non-citizens from their voting rolls. The court told them, you're not allowed to purge it. It's too close to the time period. The 4th district told them, can't purge it. Too close to the time period. They made an emergency application stay to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said, oh, get out of here. Get out of here. Yeah, purge away. Purge away. That doesn't apply to illegal aliens. That happened today. Pretty big win. Pretty big win. To me, the biggest win of it is Virginia displaying their eagerness to ensure that their voting results are accurate. And frankly, I think that it's going to be very, very close to the state of Virginia. I think it's going to be very, very close. I really appreciate you calling this to my attention, Death Angels, because I can't believe I almost skipped out on that one. That was like a pretty big one. But yeah, I told you yesterday. Why is this not coming out? That I was trying to remember exactly where they were at with respect to the polling in the state of Virginia. And Virginia, I'll tell you right now, much closer than people realize. Much closer than people realize. Because what this says here about Virginia is that the polling average is saying the spread is 5.8 points. 5.8 in favor of Harris. But most of these polls were done a month ago. They're done a full freaking month ago. And they were like, and look at how the numbers are dropping. So I don't know what the hell Christopher Newport University is, where they're saying 11% a month ago. But Washington Post, which is not exactly a right-leaning paper, was saying 6 points. That was last week. The beginning of last week, and we know her numbers keep dipping. And then Rasmussen is saying a couple of days later, they got her at 2 points. That's within the margin of error already. Virginia is totally in play here. So it's very encouraging because I'll tell you right now, every day, the garbage is striking back. The garbage is coming. The garbage is coming for you, Kamala. The garbage is coming for you. That's what I'm saying. Virginia is totally in play here. It's not a 5.8 point. It's not a 5.8 lead anymore. And frankly, with the way they continually overstate how Democrats will perform against Trump in every election that we've ever seen anywhere, 2 points it could be Trump by 2 at this point. Let's go, Virginia deplorables and garbage. Get out there and vote. Get out there and vote. All right. Thank you for reminding me of that, Sir Death Angel. For the love of God, Puerto Rico is not a country. Well, yeah. This guy's been with P. Diddy, possibly. Oh, yeah, there was actually, I saw pictures of that the day before I shared. Wisconsin Republicans employed Leonard Vona's fraud risk algorithm to track 30,000 illegal votes. Get the word out so Republicans use in other swing states. I don't know what Leonard Vona's fraud risk algorithm. Now I'm curious, though. It sounds like it could be important. I mean, jokes are good and everything, but we got an election to win, so let's not play around here. Let's see what you got. This is Leonard Vona. I don't know what to do with this. I don't know what to do about this. That's encouraging. We're taking all these battlegrounds. We're taking all these friggin' battlegrounds. The guy with Will Ferrell is Billy Eichner. He's a voice actor. That's why I don't recognize him from anything. Oh, okay. So it's Will Ferrell and a nobody, basically. Prepare for the cringe with these paid actors because they all of a sudden no one's excited to see Will Ferrell. All the people they're going to be interested. No one's like, oh my God, it's freaking Will Ferrell. No, they all act as if it's totally normal to just happen to bump into Will Ferrell on the street. So it's Will Ferrell trying to do comedy with Billy Eichner. And this is the cringiest thing I've ever seen.
Hey guys, it's Billy. I am back on the street with the one and only Will Ferrell, and we are out here today to represent a very important voting demographic, loud white men for Kamala Harris. So you ready, Will? Ah! Sir, we're loud white men for Kamala. Join the call.
Join the call.
Hell yeah, I'm in. Yeah, who are you voting for?
Kamala Harris.
Yes, exactly. Have you voted yet?
Mail-in ballot. Right.
Oh, mail-in ballot, bitch! Miss, for $1, would you have sex with a Trump voter?
No.
Thank you. Sir, we're loud white men for Kamala.
Wow. This is so sad. This is so sad. When I was watching this video, and we're going to watch the rest of it, don't worry, I'm going to make you sit through it. I had to. You will too. I was reminded that when I was 18 or so, so we're going to 19, so my father had gotten a new Bonneville. It was a cool little car. Not like, high end. It was a cool little car. A little black Bonneville. I had a lot of fun with it. And I had my share of accidents. I'm not going to kid you. I had my share of accidents in that car. And a friend of mine, when we were in our mid-20s, was looking at that car as we were like about to get rid of it. It was all battered up. A very wise friend of mine said, man, look at that car. And he quoted a passage in Talmud, which basically was like, look, if you want to do right in the world, look where you're coming from, look where you are, and look where you're going. You came from nothing. Where you are is whatever you are, and where you're headed to ultimately is your own self-destruction and basically a decrepit old man, and then the grave. And he's like, I look back and think of all the memories of this, and I keep thinking, and he quoted the passage in Hebrew, which made me laugh. It's like, look at this car in its old age. Sad. You have all the fond memories. And now it's a decrepit, gross, disgusting thing. And that's what I thought about when I was watching Will Ferrell as Loud White Men for Kamala Harris. The heights that this guy had of comedy. And this is what he's reduced to. Literally, this is what he's reduced. Like shaming himself. Like, I mean, this guy was Talladega Nights. This guy was Elf. This guy was the king of SNL. This guy's Anchorman. He's freaking Anchorman. Anchorman. He's Anchorman. And this is where Anchorman is. Anchorman has been reduced to a paycheck and running around like a battered old white man, desperately not landing any jokes at all. In some stupid t-shirt that says Loud White Men for Kamala. Making the lamest jokes. Anchorman! It's Anchorman. It's a cautionary tale for all of us. However, you might have the sweet glint of youth and luster on your face today. One day, that's you. One day, we all end up there. God. Ugh. If you live long enough, you become Will Ferrell.
Sir, we're Loud White Men for Kamala. Join the call.
Yes.
Yes.
I support Kamala.
Yes, that's not that loud, but louder.
Oh, louder.
Yes.
I support Kamala.
Louder.
I support Kamala.
Yeah. Miss, did you hear if Kamala?
I mean, this is... What the heck am I watching here?
When she's going to make Buddy the Elf Secretary of Christmas.
That would be phenomenal.
Would you have sex with a Trump voter?
Ugh.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Sir, Loud White Men for Kamala. Join the call. Go Kamala! Yeah! Yes! For $1, for $1, for $1. Who are you voting for? Yes, there you go. Yes, yes. Okay. I have to go. Yeah. Tell everyone in East Stroudsburg.
I mean, what the hell are we looking at here? This is like what's supposed to be like. Who put this together? I want to know who greenlit this. Who greenlit this? What are we watching here? Who greenlit this? This is so sad. This is so sad. Oh my God. Who greenlit this project?
For Pennsylvania to vote for Kamala.
East Stroudsburg, vote for Kamala.
Please, sir. Loud White Men for Kamala. Join the call.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who are you voting for?
Kamala.
Yeah. What's your name?
My name is Corey.
Corey. Corey for Kamala.
Anchorman. Freaking Anchorman. Whew. Puerto Rico is a country has own culture, history, and nationality. They're like the kid that never leaves home at this point. Leonard Vanna made the eBay fraud risk software. Oh, okay. I don't know what to tell people to do, though. They're not on the street at open drug use sites. I don't know where they are. Was one of the accidents your first kid? No. No. It was long before I met Lady Lawgic. Will Ferrell's on the same path as Jim Carrey down. Yeah, Jim Carrey. Oh my God. What happens? Why? Jim Carrey was really funny at a certain point. He was really funny. God. Pathetic. Speaking of funny, this was actually funny. This was actually funny. This I found funny. This is chyrons. They're called chyrons, right? The word is chiron. I never get the word right. It's chiron, right? It's a chiron. Yeah, okay. Chyrons from Fox breaking down her speech last night. Like, you know how they put up a chiron? And someone at Fox was having fun. Someone at Fox was having fun with the chyrons. Because normally, it's supposed to be like, Kamala calls for unity. No. That's not what they did. They did Kamala calls for unity while trashing Trump. Someone was having fun. The next one was Kamala pushes fear in closing message. Kamala lists policies she failed to enact. Oh my God. Kamala lists policies she failed to enact as vice president. Oh my God. Oh my God. Someone at Fox has decided I'm on Team Trump. I'm on Team Trump. Kamala's policy she failed to enact as vice president. That's pretty good. I agree with you. Dick Dickstein is the actual real news, but they never write it like that. They just be like, she lists off her policies that she put. No. The last one was Kamala closing message all about Trump. Desperate Kamala. Desperate Kamala closing message all about Trump. Oh my God. That's really, someone's got jokes. Someone's got jokes. Desperate Kamala. Oh my God. Desperate Kamala closing message all about Trump. Anyway. And finally tonight, let me check out where my thing is at. Let me check out where my poll is at. I didn't hit my quota. But 68% of you said you would be interested in locals explaining the historic connection between Jews and socialism. 68%. All right, I guess we'll do it. I'm not doing it now, though. I gotta hit my quotas. I gotta hit my quotas. I gotta encourage you to hit my quotas. All right. So 68% of you says, so I'm gonna do it. I'll break it down. We'll see. Maybe tomorrow. Sometime soon. Anyway, the final story tonight is two new movies. I was talking to you about pathetic projects that have been greenlit. Like Will Ferrell, old Will Ferrell running around doing white loud dudes for Kamala. Well, we also have two more woke projects that have been greenlit that were shared with me. The first one was shared by a fan. This is the first one I want to share with you all. So apparently Netflix is planning on doing a biography of Vladimir Putin, which everyone is very eager to see. So that's going to be the that's supposed to be the next Netflix project is going to be Vladimir Putin breaking down his life and his story as far as his rise to become the head of Russia. And last one is a Disney project. Oh, what we got here? Janella, if paying $50,000 small influencers, imagine what Will Ferrell Crap Fest cost. Jim Carrey realized how evil Hollywood is and broke him. In fact, yeah. Netflix doing a Trump comedy special. No doubt. No doubt. And the last one here is Disney. Disney's got a new project that's in the works also. And this one I'm looking forward to because I'm picturing this is leaning in on the whole let's try and appease the Jews thing. So Disney now strikes again with their newest project, which of course is going to be Anne Frank starring Lizzo as Anne Frank. I'm finna hide you. Oh my God. Oh my God. I want to say thank you to Joe. I want to say thank you to Joe, who for two things. Number one is he's the one who shared with me this update about Lizzo starring in the story of Anne Frank. You see her up there in the attic. This is where she's hiding in the attic. I'm guessing. I'm guessing. So I want to say thank you to Sound Guy Joe for his amazing work in sharing with me and keep me abreast of the developments over at Disney, because he's the one who shared that with me. I also want to share with you that he was very courteous, very kind and courteous, and he got me this little thing here, Trump 47. It's a yarmulke for me. It says Trump 47. There's a second one here. Here it is. Isn't that nice of him? Look at that. Trump 47. So nice of him. The Jewish leadership. There you go. All right. I think that's my show. I think that covers it. I think we covered a lot tonight. My shows are getting longer and longer as we're getting into crunch time. Denise is asking me, Joe, did you hear about Jenna Griswold? I did hear about this. I didn't get the full story on this, about the Colorado voting machine passwords being leaked online. 600 passwords from machines in 63 of the state's 64 counties posted for anyone to see. I appreciate you sharing this with me, Denise, and thank you. Thank you very, very much. You sort of look at her and you say to yourself, she looks like, the ultimate picture of competence. You're surprised that they would make a mistake like this. The Colorado voting machines were leaked online by the Democratic Secretary of State, specifically over 600 passwords from machines in 63 of the state's 64 counties posted for anyone to see. Someone signed an affidavit swearing on the penalty of perjury. They downloaded the file from Jenna Griswold's website and discovered the hidden tab by simply clicking unhide. Well, if it was hidden behind an unhide, you sort of, it's hard for the hackers to crack that one. The Colorado Election Regulation 8CCR 1505 Rule 20.5 requires limited access to select few at the Colorado Department of State. Neither county clerks nor commissioners have access to those files. Now, apparently, everyone's got access to them. So, there's Jenna Griswold. She's too busy going after people like Tina Peters and having them thrown in jail to actually worry about having a secure election, because she's a corrupt political hack, a useless waste of space. I'm genuinely not calling for anyone to engage in violence against her, because that would be too good for her. So, no, I definitely mean sincerely, no one should engage in violence against her. But I hope God visits soon, because, my God, this woman is a terrible blight in our country. So, that's what we got for tonight. I think I covered everything. Did I miss anything else? Was any more? Denise also said, Joe, I seriously think all those people were paid actors. I told you they're all paid actors. Why would, if you're not a paid actor and all of a sudden Will Ferrell comes running up to you you're sort of like, oh my God, you're freaking Will Ferrell. So yeah, they were all paid actors. Of course they were. I knew he would. She does. With the little suction hands. Trust me, I know the original series at least as well as you do. He's Dead, Jim. All right. Although I guess it depends on which image of the Salt Vampire that you're talking about. But that's my story for tonight. I will see you all. I definitely plan on doing locals tomorrow. Maybe we'll cover the thing. Maybe we'll cover the Jews thing. Maybe we'll see what stories about tomorrow, just to get you closer to target tonight. Well, you're too kind, honeybee. I appreciate that. Thank you kindly. Thank you kindly. That's my show for tonight. You know what the deal. Lab meat is not for you. You're human. You don't eat feces, right? Unless you're like some sort of bacteria. You don't eat the lab meat. It's feces. It's Soylent Brown. It's Soylent Brown. Lab meat is Soylent Brown. And also, do not eat the bugs. Don't eat it. Don't eat the bugs. Don't eat the bugs. Have a good night, my friends. And as always, Godspeed.